There may be some bugs, but we're going to try our best. All right. I'm going to go through a little bit of the procedure, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this over to Jessica Spence, and Jessica is going to go over the whole Zoom thing with everybody. And then I think Amy is going to make a few comments as well before we move on to our actual petitions. Okay. Just to give you an understanding of what we do here, please understand there are 7 members of the board. There are 5 regular members and there are 2 alternate members. At the present time, we only have 4 regular members and 2 alternate members. The way this thing works is the regular members vote if they are here, okay, or if they have recused themselves, they wouldn't vote as well. But if they are not here, then what will happen is an alternate member will vote. In this particular case, okay, the voting people today will be Richard Jersak, okay, Robert Cagnetta, okay, John Bernardo, Thomas Daniels, and William Mark. All right, because Mr. Mark at the present time is the first alternate. Okay, so that gives us 5 members. All right. All members, including the alternate member, okay, is expected to actively participate in discussions. All right. This is a quasi-judicial body created by South Kingstown Ordinance pursuant to state law. We do not follow the strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be a fair and equitable manner. But this is a serious hearing. You will note that I'll be swearing you in as you give testimony, okay? When your petition is called, okay, you will be asked to state your case, okay, after you're sworn in. And then what will end up happening is that board members may ask you questions, all right? You can also bring other witnesses in your support, okay? After you've finished up, all right, anyone else wishing to present testimony in support or opposition to the petition or ask questions, okay, will be asked to do so. They will be asked to identify themselves, okay? They will also be sworn in, okay? When they are done, okay, we'll go right down a list and make sure everyone can speak, okay? Then we'll give the petitioner a chance to answer any questions or to respond to any of the audience comments. Now, with regard to after the hearing, all testimony in a particular petition, okay, before a vote is taken, board members will be asked to openly discuss the evidence presented, okay? All right, with regard to variances and special use permits, that's what we have today, okay? 4 of the 5 members voting must vote in favor of the petition for the relief sought to be granted, okay? All right, now, before I go over and get into, ask Jessica to fill us all in on the exact Zoom criteria here and how we're going to do this, I just want to go over a few things so this makes sense to participants and people who are listening in. Please, we as the board have certain authority, and our authority is given to us by the town ordinances, okay? We can grant variances, okay? And we can grant special use permits. There's a few other things we can do, but since that's all we have on the agenda today, that's what I'm going to concentrate on, okay? Largely speaking, almost all variances are something called dimensional variances. What a dimensional variance means is that you are using your property for an allowable use, okay? But you are asking us to modify in some manner, okay, some regulation with regard to that property, such as a height regulation or a setback regulation, some to that authority. But please understand this, in order for us to grant the variance, okay, we only have certain authority, and the authority that we have is what's given to us by the zoning ordinance. In order to grant the variance, we have to find certain things. That's the reason we will probably be asking you questions, all right? Now, with regard to variances, you have to first show that you have a hardship, okay? All right. Number 2, you have to show that the hardship is not the result of any prior action on your part. Number 3, that the granting of the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. Number 4, that the relief requested is the least necessary. And number 5, since we only have dimensional variances today, you have to show that the hardship that will be suffered if the variance is not granted, okay, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience. All right, now listen, there's a lot of other little things that come in with regard to the variances, but those are the main points. Now, with regard to special use permits, if you are seeking a special use permit, you must present evidence to the board that the special use permit you are requested is specifically authorized by the zoning ordinance. Number 2, that the special use requested meets all the criteria set forth in the zoning ordinance. And number 3, that granting the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the South Kingstown zoning ordinance or comprehensive plan. Now listen, the reason I go over this, I don't want to show you that I know a lot. I want everyone to understand what's happening today, why we're asking questions, and that our authority is limited, okay? In order for us to do what you're proposing for us to do, we have to fill in all of these blanks, okay? All right, now, again, before I go on, what I'm going to do is, well, I guess what I'll do now is Jessica, I'll turn this over to you and you can talk about Zoom a little bit. And then when you're done with that, we'll come back and I'm going to go and list what order we're going to proceed in today. Okay. I'm also going to go over a little bit about how late we will stay tonight, and then we'll move on. So go ahead, Jess.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Spence, and I want to thank you all for joining us tonight on Zoom. I just want to review a couple of things. The hearings are going to run almost the same as an in-person hearing. This is a little redundant to what Rick already said, but how it'll work is all applicants, we're asking that they remain muted and their video turned off until we actually call your petition. At that time, we are going to unmute you and request to start video. You'll get a little box that pops up and saying that the host is asking to start video. You hit OK on that, and then your video will be showing. You will give your testimony like you normally would. If any of the applicants have given me any exhibits, or if there's anything from their applications that they want me to screen share, please direct me to do that. I will do that at the time. And then once you have completed your testimony, the chairman's going to ask if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak. At that point, the people in the audience are the attendees, and they should raise their hand. When you raise your hand, it's going to put you in chronological order of who raised their hands first. We'll unmute you at that point and allow you to speak. When you're done speaking, we're going to mute you back again. Then once all the testimony has been heard, we're going to tell the applicants that we're going to turn off their video, we're going to mute them, and then we're going to move you from a panelist to an attendee. At that point, the applicants are free to leave the meeting if they'd like, or they can just stay and watch. A couple of things to keep in mind. The agenda and all the supporting documents are available to view online at southkingstownri.com, and you would search under current zoning applications. We also are asking that if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, that you review the agenda. There's some helpful fixes on there. We also have a question and answer function. We are only using that question and answer function if you are having technical issues. We do not want any questions to be asked in that forum in regards to the petitions. If you have a question in regards to a particular petition, you need to wait for the public comment section and raise your hand, and then you'll be addressed as I explained before. The other thing we need to be aware of is that we do have a few people who are calling in by phone only, so they don't have video capability, and they can't necessarily see who's speaking. So what we are asking is, before you speak, to speak clearly, and then to always state your name prior to speaking. And that's really for the phone-in people, and for our transcription, we'll need that also. if you are calling in by phone and wish to speak, you use the *9 function to raise your hand, and then the *6 function will mute and unmute you. And then that's basically it. There is the raise your hand feature just to be used at the appropriate times, like we said. And I think it'll be a great meeting. So that's all I have to say. And I'm going to turn it over to Amy Goins now. She's our assistant town solicitor, and she has a couple of points to bring up.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I will try to keep it brief. I just want to note for the record, and especially for the public, we are conducting this meeting via Zoom pursuant to Executive Order 20-25 issued on April 15th, 2020 by Governor Raimondo, which allows remote meetings under the circumstances. I also want to note that executive order superseded a prior executive order that only allowed remote meetings for essential purposes. So the message to the public is please be patient with us. And I think patience is going to be the name of the game for everyone tonight, because this is going to be the new way of doing business for at least the next several months. Those are the indications we have from the governor. I want to note that South Kingstown has implemented all of the recommended best practices for remote meetings. In particular, all documents received from applicants as well as objectors and other interested parties were posted on the town's website in advance of the meeting. Everyone had the opportunity to review application materials, everyone meaning not only the board, but also the public. And if anyone, any members of the public weren't able to do so by going on the internet, they could have contacted town staff to review materials in person at Town Hall. My job tonight is to ensure that everyone has the same opportunity to participate as if the meeting were held in person at Town Hall. We are doing everything we can to remove barriers to participation. Regarding requests for continuances, I know we have a number on the agenda tonight, a request for continuances from objectors. I'm going to advise the board, please liberally grant continuances. However, let's try to keep in mind that we should grant them based only on particular circumstances. For example, I know there's a group of abutters tonight who've indicated they've recently engaged their own attorney, and that's a situation where even under normal circumstances, we would have granted a continuance. I'll certainly recommend we do that tonight. But we should be wary of granting continuances based solely on the fact that this is a remote meeting and it's a little bit harder and more unusual for people to participate in this way. As I said, this is going to be the new way of doing business for several months, maybe longer. And each month there is going to be a new group of abutters who will be experiencing the remote meeting platform for the first time. So we need to keep that in mind, that we may be getting hopefully better and more efficient at conducting business this way month to month. But I know staff is doing everything they can to provide notice and reach out to members of the community that need assistance with this. Just a reminder for members of the public, please do contact staff if you have any questions and not the board members themselves. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, before I go any further, Richard Jerzak here again and I want to stress too, please make sure when you speak, you first tell us who you are. That's board members and everybody, because just so everyone knows who's speaking here. Can I just go make sure that everyone hears me? Mr. Daniels, can you hear us? Can you talk?
Yes.
Can we hear you?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mark,
Yes.
Mr. Cagnetta,
Yes.
Mr. Rosen,
Yes.
and Mr. Bernardo.
Yes.
Okay, so I have all the board members, okay? All right, going over a few more things, okay? We're gonna go until 10 o'clock tonight, all right? We may go a little bit later than that. When I say we're gonna go till 10, we're gonna continue starting petitions until exactly 10 o'clock. In other words, if we start a petition at 5 of 10, we will finish it, okay? But when we're done, if it's 5 after 10 or 10 after 10, we're not gonna go on to the next petition. What will happen is the remaining petitions will be heard next week on the 29th at 7 o'clock, same time, same place, same platform. So be it. Now, what we've done today, in order to try to get as many in as we can, we're going to just change the order a little bit of what we're covering. I'm going to go over that in a second. And then anyone who is at the end of the list, if you desire, you can raise your hand and you can request that you be put over to next week, okay? And that's going to be at your discretion. Or you can take the chance that we'll get to you tonight and stay. It's up to you. You're certainly welcome, okay? All right, let's start. We have two petitions that there are requests to have them continued. The first one is the petition of David Levesque. Is who's here on that? Someone here? Okay, well,
Hello.
hello,
Hi, this is James Callahan. How are you?
good, how about you?
Good. Thanks for arranging this tonight. We appreciate it.
Okay, go ahead then. Why don't you tell us what you'd like us to do?
My name is James Callahan. I represent David Levesque and Brood Awakenings. We have a project proposed at 151 Old Tower Hill Road in Wakefield. And again, my name is James Callahan, 3 Brown Street in Wickford. We're requesting a continuance tonight. Obviously, the health crisis has had an unexpected consequence. And my client is still planning to move forward, but we do want to have a continuance to a date certain of June 17th,
Okay.
or your scheduled meeting in June, if that's possible.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, board members, does anyone have an issue with that?
No. No.
No,
Okay,
I do
all
not.
right. Amy, do I need to ask for public opposition or anything to have it go over?
No, we typically do not, but for the first request for a continuance, we grant that as a matter of course. I'll just remind you to ask for a roll call vote, please.
Yes, okay. All right, would one of the board members like to make a motion to have this go over to June 17th?
Sure, I'll do it. Tom Daniels.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Move the petition of David Levesque, 1395 Atwood Avenue, Johnston, Rhode Island, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to establish a restaurant with alcohol, accessory drive-up window, and accessory entertainment to a restaurant. All uses require a special use permit. The applicant received a favorable advisory opinion for the development plan from the planning board on January 29, 2020. The lot size is 0.91 acres. A special use permit is required per zoning ordinance section 301, schedule of use regulations table, and section 907 standards of relief. Owner of the property is Gerald Richmond for premises located at 151 Old Tower Hill Road, Assessors map 57-2 lot 51, and is zoned commercial highway. Use code 56.1 restaurant with alcohol and use code 56.3 accessory entertainment to a restaurant, and use code 58 drive-through accessory window. And I move that the petition go over to the June 18th meeting.
Is it June 18th or June, what's the date of that meeting, Jess?
June 17th.
17th. Sorry.
Okay, all right, motion made by Mr. Daniels. Okay, would someone like to second it?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Mark. Any discussion? All right, hearing no discussion, let's have a vote. Okay, Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. The motion passes 5-0. Okay, it goes over until the meeting of June 17th. Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Okay, all right, the next one that is going to go over is the petition of Charles Walsh. Okay, do we have someone here on that?
John Kenyon's present.
John, are you here?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. For some reason, can you see me?
I
No.
can't, well, I can't see you now, but I can see, I can see your letter. So your letter's in front of me. It's
You
pretty
can
impressive.
hear me though?
I can hear you.
Okay,
ahead.
I'll try to fix the video for the next few hearings, but I
Okay.
hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. Thank you for putting this on tonight. And I represent Charles Walsh, who's the trustee of the Louise Marie Walsh Trust. And they have an application for Rosebriar Avenue. And we saw the letters from the neighbors who said they had engaged a lawyer and engineer. They were looking for more time, so we're fine with granting that time to them.
Okay, so we're gonna have this go over until the May 20th meeting, is that it?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, thank you, John. Anything else to tell us, or that's all you want to tell us?
That's it for now. I'll try to get this video working.
That's fine. Okay, board members, anyone have a problem with that? All right, if not, would someone make a motion?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Move the petition of Charles Walsh, 3 Stone Post Way, Greenville, Rhode Island, 02828 for a special use permit and dimensional variance. Under the zoning ordinance as follows, the applicant is seeking to construct a new single-family dwelling. Special use permit is required because the proposed OWTS is proposed to be located within 150 feet of a wetland. A favorable advisory opinion was obtained from the South Kingstown Conservation Commission on March 3rd, 2020. The dwelling will be located 25 feet from the front property line. The required front yard setback is 40 feet. A relief of 15 feet is requested. The lot size is 0.57 acres. The required front yard setback is 40 feet, and the applicant is seeking a relief of 15 feet. The lot size, again, the lot size is 0.57 acres. A dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance section 401, and a special use permit is required per zoning ordinance section 504.1. Owner of the property is Louise Marie Walsh Living Trust for premises located on Rosebriar Avenue under Assessor's Map 90-4, Lot 215. And is zoned R30. And I move that the petition be continued until May 20th, 2020.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Daniels. Okay, would someone like to second it?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Bernardo. Any discussion? All right, if not, let's vote. Okay. Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
okay, Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay, that is continued. The petition of Charles Walsh is continued until May 20. Okay? All right, now let's get into the agenda. I'm going to go over now the order that we're going to follow today. Now, again, we're following this order because we're trying to get the maximum number done today, all right? And we've ascertained that these are the matters that can be taken care of quickest. All right, we're going to start with the petition of Island Deli. Then we're going to go on to the petition of Insomnia Cookies. Then we're going to go on to the petition of John and Gabriel here. Then we're going to do the petition of PBL Inc. Then we're going to do the petition of Lance Whaley. Then we're going to do the petition of Louise. I apologize for the name. Guamarcia. All right. I know I've screwed it up, but I think we know what it is. The next one will be the petition of Matunic Beach Properties. Okay. Then we will do the petition of Malachi and Bondi O'Connor. Then we will do the petition of Raymond Dion. Then we will do the petition of Janet Elizabeth and Kenneth Greenberg. Then we will do the petition of Mark Janetto. And then last, we will do the petition of the Prout School. Now, I'm going to ask at this point for any of those people who are here for petitions who are at the latter end of that list. It is your petition, and if you wish us to continue that until next Wednesday, okay? I would ask you now to raise your hand and we will call you. Jess, is there anyone raising their hands? You're muted, Jess. I can't hear you.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I'm not seeing anyone.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then you're all welcome. And we're gonna get to as many as we can today. All right? All right, Jessica, before I begin, okay, since this is the first time that we're doing this live, is there anything I've missed?
Not that I can tell.
Okay, board members, please, we're not gonna fool around with this raising your hand things, but please, try to, let's go, so we're not interrupting each other just as we do in a regular meeting, okay? When I ask if anyone wants to ask questions, go right ahead and just, let's see if we can keep it orderly, okay? All right, let's start with the first one. Petition of Island Deli Sandwich Shop, CO, I guess that's Michael or Bucci, 231 Old Tower Hill Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to obtain alcohol service with the existing restaurant use. Lot size is 1.07 acres. A special use permit is required per zoning ordinance section 301, schedule of use regulations, and section 907, standards of relief. Owner is George Gaber Jr. for premises located at 231 Old Tower Hill Road, South Kingstown, Rhode Island. Assessors map 57-2, lot 43, and is zoned CH Commercial Highway. Use code is 56-1, dash restaurant with alcohol. Okay, is anyone here for this petition?
Michael Bucci.
Okay, all right. Can I, all right, Jess, can I get, I would just as soon have his picture, but I don't.
Change
maybe
your view. I can
All right.
stop for a minute if you'd like.
All right, okay, Michael, you're here, good. Okay, Michael, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Did you say yes, sir?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak better into your microphone. I can just hear you, but when you start giving your testimony, we may not. So go ahead.
All right, great. Hi, how is everybody? Good evening. My name's Mike Bucci. I'm the owner of Island Deli Sandwich Shop. So basically, I'm asking for a special zoning permit because I'd like to apply for a beer and wine license. We are at Old Tower Hill Road. We've been here about 2 years. And what we do here is a quick takeout order, and we offer minimal seating. I have under 20 seats here, and we weren't going to expand anything like that. So I just wanted to be able to offer my customers some local craft beer and a little sangria. We weren't planning on having liquor or building a bar or anything like that. So this permit would be the first step in applying for a beer and wine license for the location. We wouldn't be changing any structures, hours, or how we do anything. We just wanted to be able to offer, some local craft beers and something to drink with a sandwich. And it just helped us compete a little bit better with the places around town and all the other things. So we're just trying to stay a little relevant and in people's minds.
Okay, what are your hours right now, Michael?
We're currently 9 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and Sundays we're 9 to 6 o'clock.
Okay, and currently with the way the laws are, people could bring in liquor into your establishment, not liquor, but beer or wine, could they not?
Correct. Yeah, we do offer BYOB, and we do card when somebody brings it in.
Okay, but this would allow you to better control your whole sale of liquor because you'd be selling it, or the use of liquor in your premises, right?
Yeah, we would discontinue our BYOB and just offer cans from local breweries was the plan, and then some wine next door from the liquor store.
Okay, do you have anything else to tell us?
No, just wanted to reiterate that we wouldn't be building a bar or encourage anybody to sit down and hang out and drink. We were just wanted to be able to offer a can of beer or something with a lunch service.
Okay, board members, questions? Anyone?
Yes, John Bernardo. So I guess somewhere down the road, people in your establishment, employees will need to be tip trained. My question though is, how do you keep an eye on who's drinking what and how many and that type of thing?
Yeah, so we plan on having all of our managers tip certified to be able to card properly. And there's a manager on every shift that will be able to do that. We're also going to offer a 2-can maximum, or 2-drink maximum, I should say. And it would definitely have to be with the purchase of food and we offer waters and sodas as well as non-alcoholic beverages too, in case somebody needs that.
So you can't, John Bernardo again, so you can't go in and just have a beer and hang out. You have to order food first.
Yes, sir. That would be the idea. We still want to encourage people to eat here. This would just be an addition to what we already offer. We wouldn't really want to encourage, or rather we are not going to encourage people to just come in and sit down and drink. That's not the type of vibe I wanted. So it would just be more to complement the sandwiches and food service. So we would have restrictions on how much and what's being purchased.
What are your hours?
We're Monday through Saturday, 9 to 7, and Sunday we are 9 to 6 o'clock. And we will not be changing hours to stay open later or anything like that if we were granted this permit.
I'm good.
Okay,
Thank
you.
Anyone else, board members?
Tom Daniels.
Go ahead, Tom.
Michael, if the board were to approve this special use permit, would you have a problem with a stipulation that a customer is entitled to only 2 cans of beer and/or only 2 glasses of wine, if that was stipulated in the special use permit? Second part of that is if legal counsel agrees with that stipulation.
Absolutely. I would have no problem with anything the board seems fit to put on as far as, maximums as far as service. We planned on doing that anyway, so I have no problem with it at all.
Okay.
This is Amy Goins, legal counsel. You can impose reasonable conditions. The town council is the ultimate authority on the liquor aspect of this application. If you impose that condition and the applicant agrees, they would have to abide by it. And if they wanted to seek relief from that condition at some point in the future, they would have to do so by applying for a new special use permit with that condition eliminated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
I have a few questions. Is there a
ahead.
limit?
Yeah, Mr.
Bill.
Mark, just give us your name first, Mr.
Sure.
Mr. Mark speaking. Yep, go ahead.
Is there a limit to the alcohol licenses in the town at present? This is more, I guess, to Amy, or
You cut out, Bill. What was that question?
is there a limit to the number of alcohol licenses available within the town at present?
Yes, and what usually happens when someone wants a new license is the town council will conduct 2 public hearings. Really, it's 1 public hearing, but first they will vote to increase the cap on number of permitted licenses, and then they will conduct a public hearing on the merits of the application itself. So that's how it would be handled, and I'm unaware whether this applicant would need relief from that cap.
Are we at and or near the cap right now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, and well, the second part of that question, I guess, more globally, was whether or not is this the best use of an existing liquor license for a lunchtime restaurant? And I'm not sure if
That I would say, I'll remind you, you should consider this application according to the special use permit criteria. So the best use of the property is not a criterion. I understand your interest in it, but ultimately that will be up to the town council.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Richard Jurzak speaking. Okay, Amy, I have one question for you, in that this is a special use permit. Obviously, we have to consider the effect on the neighborhood. Is there any prohibition, or should we be considering closeness to schools and things like that? I mean, there is a school across the street. I don't know if is that some criteria for liquor license?
Oh, okay. No, that is not a criterion for this type of license. And globally, you can consider, public health, safety, and welfare. That is not something you need to consider for this type of license.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for this gentleman? Board members? Okay. Mr. Bucci, do you have anything you have to say?
Yes, actually, as far as the remaining beer and wine permits in town, it was told to me that they had reached the cap. There was none available, so it would have to go through the breaking the cap meeting or whatever. But this was the first step in that process, and I wouldn't even be able to apply for that until this was granted. So even though there weren't any available, I just wanted to get the process started as well, and hopefully either break the cap and get granted one, or have one become available. And as far as if this is a great use of the permit, I just wanted to say that I believe it is. We are a pretty well-established place here. We've been here for over 10 years, 2 years in this current location now. And we see not only a lot of tourists and day trippers, but we also have a lot of locals here. And I feel that being able to offer them something other than just sandwiches and soft drinks, especially considering that we'd be mostly working with local breweries here, Whalers, Gray Sail, things like that. I do feel like this would be a good choice for that permit. So just wanted to speak out on that.
And Mr. Chair, I'm going to amend what I said previously. Rhode Island general law does require that for Class B liquor licenses, they're prohibited from being within 200 feet of a church or school. So the council will require, just as you have a radius map and a butters list, but specifically that question will be up to the council.
So it's not up to us. We don't have to consider that. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Would anyone like to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Now, would you, Jessica, go over with them again how they do that? Because this is the first time I'm asking that question.
Sure. So if you are an attendee, you're going to need to raise your hand. So at the bottom of the screen, there should either be a little button that says raise hand, or there'll be 3 little dots that you can click that say raise hand. If you are calling in by phone, it is *6 is mute and I'm sorry, *6 is raise, *9 is raise hand, sorry, and *6 is mute and unmute. And we'll just give it a minute. That's what we find. We're going to move a little bit slower through this just to make sure we don't miss anyone.
Jess and Rick, this is Amy Goins, legal counsel. Can we note for the record, I believe I'm correct in saying the board has not received letters of objection on this petition. And Rick, I know you already said it kind of at the call of the calendar, but just want to note again, we had not received any letters of support or objection on this one.
Okay.
Correct.
You know, and having Richard Jerzak speaking again, Jessica, and again, this is the first time we're doing this, but I think what we should do is, could you just list very quickly what's in that file?
Sure.
The
hold
list
on.
of things in the file, because I forgot to ask you to do that. And if
Sure.
I forget from now on, please just tell me that. Go ahead,
Great.
list what's in the
So,
file.
there was a complete application, an owner authorization form, floor plans, all his business licenses, the abutters list, a radius map, and a copy of the menu.
Okay. All right, do we have anyone who wants to speak in favor or opposition?
I think we're good, Rick. No one's
We're
raised
good?
their hand.
Okay, all right, having that being the case, board members, How are we on this? Does anyone have an issue here?
No
Mr.
issue.
Daniels, you okay?
I have no issue.
Okay, Mr. Mark,
I'm fine.
Mr. Cagnetta,
No objections or concerns? No.
no, Mr. Bernardo.
Ready to make a motion.
Okay, how about Mr. Rosen? Anything?
Fine.
Okay, you want to make a motion, Mr. Bernardo?
Yes. I make a motion that we approve the petition of Island Deli Sandwich Shop, care of Michael Bucci, 231 Old Tower Hill Road, Wakefield, for a special use permit. The applicant is seeking to obtain alcohol service with his existing restaurant. His lot size is 1.07 acres. The special use is required under our section 301 and 907. The owner of the property is George Eber Jr. at 231 Old Tower Hill Road, South Kingston, Rhode Island, map 572, lot 43, and zone commercial highway. Mr. Bucci is the owner of the restaurant Island Deli, and he appeared this evening via our Zoom meeting and indicated that he is trying to be competitive with his competition and is seeking an alcohol license for, as he indicated, craft beer and sangria. He indicated that his hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 through 7, and Sunday, 9 to 6, and that if he gets the alcohol permit, he is not going to change his hours. He also indicated that, strike that, this zoning board member is familiar with where this restaurant is currently located. It's in a small strip mall surrounded by a Dunkin' Donuts and I believe a dry cleaning business as well as a liquor store. Based on my experience in that area, having attended all of those places, there appears to be adequate parking. I don't have an issue with ingress or see an issue with ingress or egress. Utilities, I don't believe is an issue, neither is screening or buffering. He didn't indicate, the applicant didn't indicate anything about changing his sign or exterior lighting. So I think the requested permit would be consistent with the use of the area, especially in light of the fact there's a liquor store 2 doors down from his establishment. So I would move that we approve the petition. This special use is specifically authorized by our ordinance. The use meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of the ordinance authorizing the special use. The granting of the special use will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the ordinance or comprehensive plan. And again, that's based on this zoning board members' use of the area where the property is located. And we've already discussed the issues involving ingress and parking. So with that said, I move that we approve the petition, subject to, I believe there were some drawings, but I don't think they indicated anything that we need to be concerned about. So I don't think it's going to be subject to anything other than, I guess, the hours that he indicated. Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I don't have a problem with putting a limitation on it, but I don't know, maybe that's more the purview of the council in terms of two beers or two wines per visit. But
Okay, is that part of your motion or?
I know there was some talk about that, and it seemed like the applicant had no issue with it. So why don't I add that to my motion, that any customer is going to be limited to 2 drinks, whether they're beer or wine, at any one time while in the restaurant.
Okay. All right, motion made by Mr. Bernardo. Okay, will someone second it?
I'll second.
Who was that?
I'm sorry, Rob Cagnetta, second.
Okay, second by Mr. Cagnetta. Do we have any discussion?
Let me ask just a quick question. I believe it's a Geber's liquor store that's near you, isn't it, Mr. Bucci?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
Are you related?
I am not. No, he's just the landlord.
Okay.
All right, any other question? Any other discussion? All right, let's vote, okay? Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Good luck, Mr. Bucci.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for your time and help.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, we got for the first one, so we're on a roll here now. Okay, I feel better. Here we go. The second one, petition of Insomnia Cookies, CO David Wilson, signed Guild Inc., 221 Tuckertown Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is proposing to install an internally illuminated exterior wall sign. The size will conform to the zoning standards. Internally illuminated signs are not allowed in the CN zoning district. Lot size is 4.4 acres. A dimensional variance is required for zoning ordinance section 805B, signs in commercial industrial districts, and section 907 standards of relief. The business owned is Insomnia Cookies for property owned by Marley Properties Kingston LLC, located at 99 Fortin Road, South Kingston, Rhode Island, Assessors Map 23-2, Lot 24, in a Zone CN commercial neighborhood. Okay, is someone here for this petition?
Yes, I am. David Wilson.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
would you like me, this is Jessica speaking, would you like me to read the list of documents?
yes, please. David, hang on one second. She's just gonna
Sure.
read the list of what's in the file. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a completed application. I have an owner authorization form. There's a sign diagram. There's an abutters list and radius map. And then there are several photos of surrounding signage at the other businesses on the property.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, Mr. Wilson, you're not an attorney, you're going to give testimony?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir. Tell us what you want to do.
We represent Insomnia Cookies on this matter. They are a cookie company that delivers primarily to URI until actually 3 o'clock in the morning. And the bulk of their business is in the evening hours, and they would like to put a channel letter sign up, fairly small. I don't know if Jessica, if you can put up the picture of it or not.
Sure, of the proposed sign?
Yep.
Sure. Just give me 1 second and I'll get to that.
Sure. So the lettering itself has a faceplate on it, so that you don't actually see the illumination itself. It's inside. They're fairly small letters, meets your zoning. And the logo off to the side is also illuminated. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Okay, go ahead.
They have a non-illuminated sign up there right now, which is, they would like to be a little bit more compatible with what is going on within the plaza, but what I would think is a much better looking sign than some of the signs that are in the plaza. And Jessica, can you just go through the
Sure.
plaza signs that I've done? You can do it very rapidly. I'm not going to talk about each one.
All right.
We can see the exhibits.
You can see the exhibit?
Yes.
No, there's, what I
Seven.
wanted to do is show all the signs in the plaza. This particular sign will not face any residential area.
So there's one.
So how would your sign differ from any other sign that's shown in all the exhibits? In
Um,
terms of size, square footage?
Well, the Dunkin' Donuts sign, this is actually a message center that's in a window and a non-illuminated sign over the top of it, and that actually travels. The channel letter sign, you'll see one is similar to CVS, which will be coming up.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, Rick Cherzak here.
They're,
What is
so
your
similar to
point?
that sign there.
Yeah, what is your point on this? How is it, it's relevant that what? That everyone else has a lit sign, is that it?
That's part of it, but also because of most of their business done during the evening hours, they need much better lighting for the signage.
Okay, now, can I ask, Wayne Pimentel, can I ask you, how is it that all these other people have lighted signs? Do they all have variances?
No, Rick, we're in the process now after getting some falls on these. We're in the process now of bringing these into compliance.
I couldn't hear that. You're in the process of doing what?
We're in the process now of putting these other businesses to bring them into compliance with
Okay.
this particular request as well.
Okay. All right, so, well, I guess my question, well, go ahead, Mr. Wilson. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
I know you're gonna.
that's basically what I have. What happened was they originally got a permit for a non-illuminated sign, and then the restaurant across from them put up two signs, all with channel letters, and they came to us and said, we want to do the same thing. So that's why we're before you.
Okay, the problem is the ordinance says you can't have a lit sign. So what are you telling us here? You're asking for a variance. So what's the hardship?
The hardship is because they're selling so late at night that you can't even see that the place is open. From 4 o'clock in the afternoon on until 3 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't even know that the cookie company was open.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Bernardo.
John Bernardo, Mr. Wilson,
Yes, John.
why do you believe that a internally lit sign will better advertise the business than a sign that is illuminated from exterior lighting addressed on it?
Yes, I do. I think it'll stand out a little bit more and look much more professional than what they have there right now.
And do you have anything to give us on why, other than, your opinion? What objective criteria do you base that on? I'm just trying to get at the fact that I'm trying to find out if you're saying you want the sign, or the business wants a sign because they want to be like the other businesses in the area, or if they feel that an exterior illuminated sign just won't advertise their business as well as an internally lit sign.
I think the internally lit sign, and I've been doing this for over 50 years. will have a substantial benefit to them as far as an increase in business and also a focus within that area. Everybody is doing basically the same thing.
Let me ask you this, who is the typical customer? Are they URI students, faculty, and URI workers, or do they come from off campus to the shop?
It's both. They deliver throughout the whole area.
So they get a lot of walk-in traffic?
They get some walk-in traffic, but people have to know they're there also.
Well, it's a retail shop, right? And you go in.
It's a
and you can
retail,
buy
it's a retail store, right?
And without that internally illuminated sign, they wouldn't be able to find the place.
That's, in the evening hours, that's absolutely true.
Okay, thank you.
Tom Daniels here. What are the hours, Mr. Wilson?
They're open, I think, from 11 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the morning. And they have a permit to stay open until 3 a.m.
Okay, and the other question I have is, I visited the premises and I'm assuming the sign is going on the building facing the ATM, the bank drive-through?
No, it's on the face of their building where their entrance is.
Oh, so you do.
There are actually two signs on the building. And one is a non-illuminated sign that faces the ATM.
Right.
And the other one faces the International and Abby's and so on and so forth.
So this sign is going on the front of the building, is that correct? Because you're
correct. That's correct.
It doesn't seem to show that. It shows it on the.
No, it's not the end of the building.
It seems to be the facing the bank drive-through.
No, that's incorrect. They do have similar elevations, but their actual entrance is right at the
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, again, Richard Jerzak here.
Yes, Richard.
If someone's going to try to make a motion here, again, what is the hardship?
Well, the hardship is really that they need better illumination that is allowed for the late evening hours that they have.
Okay, but the ordinance says that you can't have that. So in order for us to, remember, our authority is limited. In order for us to grant this, we have to come up with some reason to show that there's something different here.
Well, all I can say is there's been like 4 people in that location and everyone has failed. So I think that under the circumstances, they need all the help that they can get.
Okay, all right, board members, additional questions?
I have a question for Wayne. Is there anything that prevents them from illuminating the sign from the front of it so it's not a backlit sign? So I noticed some with the gables facing the parking lot, they can have lights that sort of wrap around the top of the sign and then illuminate the sign from. But is there any restrictions on the illumination of signage from the building itself?
No, they could have an externally illuminated, but just not internally.
Just not internally, even though, as we saw, there's probably 6 businesses there with some sort of internal. It's not the intent of the.
And we, us not being up there at night, we weren't aware of these other internally illuminated. So it's something that we're going to address with the other businesses, but they would be allowed externally illumination.
So if there was need for them to create either a safer walking area or to identify the fact that they're open, they can put lighting on the external of the building, additional lighting.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Is that and that's without any variance required?
That's correct.
Okay, other questions of this gentleman? Okay, Mr. Wilson, do you have anything else you want to tell us?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
You know what you didn't tell us, Mr. Wilson? What is your position with this entity? I mean, you alluded that,
I own Sign Guild, and we have an order to produce a sign for them. The company is out of Pennsylvania, and they're on almost every college campus that I can think of, all the major college campuses. And this is their normal signage is a channel letter sign.
okay. Any further questions for this gentleman? Okay, board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Okay,
Thank you.
does anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Again, remember how Jessica Spence explained on how to do it a minute ago.
No one has raised their hand.
No one raised their hand?
No.
Okay. All right, okay, if that's the case, if there's no one speaking in favor or opposition to this petition, board members, okay? Let's start with you, Mr. Rosen. How do you feel about this?
Well, I had a question for Mr. Pimentel. This is Bill Rosen again. I read in the ordinance manual that I have here that there can only be one internally illuminated sign per building. Is that correct?
I'm not 100% sure on that, Mr. Rosen. There are multiple signs, wall signs allowed on a building. If it has more than one side, there are limitations on the sizes of those. But I'm not 100% sure on whether or not just one internally illuminated is allowed or not.
Because I went over there and looked at the building, and Insomnia Cookies is at one end of this fairly large building, and at the other end is a mini mart which has an internally illuminated sign. The Insomnia Cookies has an externally illuminated sign with some lights shining on it. I agree with Mr. Wilson, it doesn't look all that good, but it shows up just well when I was over there at night. You can see that it says Insomnia Cookies, etc. Of course, I wasn't there at 3 a.m. in the morning when you might be blinded by it or something like that. But at any rate, I was just curious about that, and the ordinance that was in the manual that I was reading said that one per building. I didn't know whether you considered this one building or two buildings. Actually, it has two gabled roofs on it.
Yeah, it's based upon per business.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Rosen, or is that your
No,
only
that's
comment?
it. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Bernardo, how do you feel?
Well, I know Mr. Wilson makes very professional signs. He made my sign. But I'm going to have a hard time finding a hardship here because I don't see a distinction between the lighting internally in the sign and lighting reflected on the sign externally. I just don't see it. So I think I'm going to have a problem with it.
Okay, Mr. Mark?
Likewise, I think I really don't see the hardship in it. I don't think just because other businesses have failed in the same spots without having lighting is a case. And just from experience, I know that the deliveries that are done with Insomnia drivers are done with illuminated signs on the cars. Would be the same thing, I'm assuming, would be at this location. So they have cars sitting in the parking lots with illuminated signs on top of them if they're delivering, in fact. And what amount of business needs to have that much lighting or external lighting after 10 o'clock at night, for that matter, if most college students are ordering online or through an app? I have trouble with it.
Okay, Mr. Cagnetta, Mr.
All right, find
Cagnetta.
my unmute. Yes, excuse me. Yes, this is Rob Cagnetta. I'm feeling that this also does not sort of fit the criteria of meeting the requirements for a dimensional variance. It's pretty explicit to say that the signs are prohibited, and I don't feel that they've made a compelling case as to the need for it in this particular establishment.
Okay, Mr. Daniels.
I really don't have a problem with this application. The business is trying to do the best it can under the circumstances. It's open till 3 a.m. in the morning. I looked at the surrounding area and the signs that are currently on this building and on this business and on other buildings, and it's a mishmash. And I think that this particular sign that's been described is state of the art. It looks good. It will help the business. Obviously, the owner is prepared to spend some money on the sign. He's not here to testify, but his agent is, and he feels it will increase his business and help his business and make it successful. I just don't see a problem. It's basically on the campus at URI. There are stores and restaurants and such in this area that all have signs of one form or another. Some are in fact interior lit, some are not. And I don't really have a problem with I think there is a hardship here.
Okay, all right, I would tend to agree with the majority here. I don't think there's a hardship. Okay, I think that the only authority we would have to grant this if we could show that there was a hardship, and I just don't see it. That's my feeling. Okay, having that in mind, would someone like to make a motion one way or the other here?
I'll make a motion that we, actually, my motion will be to disallow the petition. You want me to make the motion?
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
go,
no, well, I'm prepared to do it, but,
go ahead.
okay.
I think by the poll that I took, I think your motion is probably with the majority, so go ahead.
I make a motion that we deny the petition of Insomnia Cookies, care of David Wilson of Sign Guild, 221 Tuckertown Road, Wakefield, for a dimensional variance under the zoning board, under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is proposing to install an internally lit illuminated exterior wall sign. The size will conform to the zoning board standards. Internally illuminated signs are not allowed in the CN zone. The lot size is 4.4 acres. The dimensional variance per our zoning ordinance 805B, section 907. The business owner is Insomnia Cookies for property owned by Marley Properties, Kingston LLC, 99 Fortin Road, South Kingston. Map 23-2, lot 24. And again, this is a CN zone commercial neighborhood. So tonight, the applicant was represented by the sign builder, Dave Wilson, who presented testimony that this cookie business is essentially looking for an internally illuminated sign to assist its customers, mostly, I guess, prospective customers, in finding their business. He also cited the fact that there are other businesses in the area with internally illuminated signs. This zoning board member is also cognizant of the fact that our building inspector just indicated that he is aware of, or has just been made aware of, the fact that there are a number of other businesses in the area with internally illuminated signs, and that he will begin a process to to address that issue so that they are consistent with our town ordinance, which is that internally illuminated signs are not allowed unless, of course, by variance. And so it seems like if we were to grant this, we'd be going down a path inconsistent with the inspector, building official's statement. But even more so, I would find that I do not see a distinction between an internally illuminated sign and a sign that is illuminated through reflective lighting externally. And especially if the sole purpose is to draw attention to the sign. I didn't hear any evidence that one sign, that an internally illuminated sign is brighter or will catch the eye more so than any other type of illuminated sign. So I'm having a hard time, or I don't find, rather, that there is a hardship here. I also think I didn't hear any evidence from any customers perhaps that got lost on their way trying to find this particular business, or any evidence about the traffic of this business. Is it purely retail, or are they out on the road selling their cookies based on internet orders? I just don't know. So I don't find that, I'm not able to find that the applicant has demonstrated a hardship, and therefore without a hardship, I can't move forward in granting, or going through the other requirements to provide relief for this applicant. So with that said, I move that we would deny the petition based on that fact.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Bernardo. Does someone want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Mark. Okay, discussion. Okay, if no discussion, let's vote. Mr. Bernardo.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Nay.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Okay, so Mr. Bernardo's motion passes. The petition is denied. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one. Okay, petition of John and Gabriella Spear, 177 Indian Trail South, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is proposing to construct a 10-foot by 14-foot detached storage shed and stairs to the existing deck. The lot is a non-conforming lot of record. The proposed shed will be located 5 feet from the right side property line. The required side setback is 20 feet. Relief of 15 feet is requested. The stairs will be located 15 feet from the right side property line. The required side yard setback for the stair is 40 feet. Relief of 25 feet is requested. Lot size is 0.46 acres. A dimensional variance is required for zoning ordinance section 207, non-conforming lots of record building setback requirements, and section 907 standards of relief. The owners are John and Gabriella Spear for premises located at 177 Indian Trail South, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, assessors map 34-4, lot 20, and is zoned R80. Okay, is someone here for this petition?
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman, it's Jessica. I will read the documents that are part of the package.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a completed application. I have an owner authorization form. I have site plans and elevations dated January 5th, 2020. I have an abutters list and radius map, and I have applicants exhibits 1 through 4, which are existing site photos.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, Mr. Spear?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for doing this. I know it's a brave new world here.
Certainly is.
Process. I'll try to keep it brief. We can look at the plans and elevations, but let me just start with the overview. We bought the house in Indian Lake about a year ago. We love the neighborhood, love the house, love everything about the house, except that we don't have any storage space for the types of things that you don't want to bring inside your living space. The house is, because of the nature of the lot, the house is basically a slab on grade. It's a limited lot, has a septic system for a 2-bedroom house, and it is a 2-bedroom house. It has generous storage space and common space, but only 2 bedrooms, which is all we need. What it doesn't have is a basement. It has no basement, it has no outdoor shed, it has no utility area. So the types of things that we would like to store, the lawnmower, the weed whacker, the chainsaw, a couple of outboard motors, yard furniture, things that you don't generally want to bring into a finished interior, we have no place for. So the proposal that we've designed and that I have drawings for, it solves that problem with the 10x14 shed. And it addresses a number of other issues in the backyard as well. Jessica, could we maybe look first at the site plan?
Sure. There you go.
Okay, thank you. The house is 10 feet from the property line by a variance issued by your board, I think in 2014, maybe earlier than that. If you can see the wetland setback leaves a very small building envelope, and that's why the board granted the 10-foot variance for the side yard. You can see the shed in the back, and then we would like to add a deck and the stairs. Maybe Jessica, we could go to the photographs. That's probably the more illuminating thing.
Sure. 1 second.
It doesn't matter what order, we'll just start with the first one. Okay, this photograph shows a number of issues. One is that if you look at the upper deck, the deck from the second floor, there is no way to the ground. And that's maybe a choice, but I look at it and it has that little offshoot to the side, which I think was intended to have a stairway down to the lawn, and we would like to have that. What happened with the gas tanks, maybe Jessica, we go to the next photograph. I don't know if you can see, if your picture is better, but you'll see there's a little slab on the right, not the one the gas tanks are sitting on, but it's underneath the overhang. And I think what their intention was to put the gas tanks there, and then they ran afoul of the building code, which said that they couldn't be under that cantilevered second floor. So they added a second slab out in the yard and put the tanks on that. And when they did that, I think they couldn't build the stairs down the way they wanted to. So we would like to address that. As it is now, we have to walk around the tanks. The gas line actually goes about waist high through the air, so we can't cut between them. Maybe Jessica, we could go just run quickly through the next photographs. You can see the neighbor's house beyond is also about 10 or 12 feet from the property line. So it's pretty consistent with his house and most of the other houses in the neighborhood. And the last photograph. Okay, this just shows you basically what we have for a yard. You see it's a fairly small yard. And this is about all we have. There's a little bit on the side, but very restricted by wetlands, not disturb, the limits of disturbance. Maybe Jessica, now the plan.
Sure.
So if you look at the plan view, the site plan actually showed the little deck, but essentially I'd like to have a 5-foot setback. So the house is 10, the shed would be 5. It minimizes the intrusion on the yard. It gives room for the stairs that we would like to add to come down, join the deck. It gives us access to the side of the house where garbage, recycling, the condensers for the heating system and so forth, the compost, all of that is there. So the stairs would come down to the little deck. The propane tanks would now go up on the deck in a little lattice enclosure, which I think would be a lot more sightly for us and everybody else. The shed is very basic. It's 10 by 14, 140 square feet. As such, it can be built on piers. The building official tells me that at that size, under 200 square feet, we don't need a frost protected foundation, so I can put it on 4 concrete piers. I just have to anchor it down for wind resistance, minimizes site disturbance. We are also, as I said, very close to the water table. I can't, that's why there's no basement. I can't dig a hole. I can't put a foundation under it. So the piers seem like a minimally intrusive approach. So let me just run quickly through your variance criteria. The hardship is, as I described, the types of things that we want to keep in it: outboard motors, gas, chainsaws, and things we really don't want in our finished house. Certainly not in the small utility room we have, where we have a propane fired furnace. That seems like a bad idea. So that's our hardship. Hardship is not created by us. It's a very small lot. The lot is just shy of half an acre, but a very small percentage of that is usable. There is no other feasible place on the lot to put one. I had 2 engineers come over. What I really would have loved to do is a 1-car garage on the side of the house, the opposite side. Both engineers I talked to said, forget it, you'll never get it approved. You don't have the space, you won't meet the standards. And I understand that. So this is a compromise. So we didn't create the hardship other than perhaps by buying the house, which we love. It will not alter, in my opinion, the character of the neighborhood. If you're familiar with Indian Lake, it's a subdivision that was a community that was designed and built between the 1930s and 1950s. All small houses, almost all have a garage or a shed. Everything is very close together. There are very small setbacks throughout the entire neighborhood. So it's a really nice little community. I think this is the least relief necessary. I mean, obviously the size of the shed is a little bit arbitrary. We could argue, could it be bigger? Could it be smaller? I went for something that will address our needs adequately without being too big for the neighborhood. It's very much in character with what other people have, give or take a little bit. So I would like to say that I think it's the least variance, least relief necessary. And as far as the hardship being more than a mere inconvenience, I think that's a given. I have no other place to keep things like the lawnmower, outboard motors, cans of gasoline or oil, a chainsaw, a weed whacker. There just isn't anywhere on the property to put them, short of getting one of those plastic Home Depot sheds, which I can't abide. So that's my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions or go back and look at any exhibits that you'd like to see.
Okay. Well, sir, why can't it be moved towards the center of the lot? Towards the, in other words,
If you go, Jessica, back to the site plan. Okay, if you look at the backyard, you'll see that if I were to try to meet the setback, the shed would basically be in the center of what little yard we have. There is no other yard. It would also, the door from the first floor of the house, the exterior door, is pretty much in line with the dock, which goes down to the lake. So when you come out of the first floor of the house, it's a straight shot. You come out that door and you go directly across the yard to the dock, and that's our 6-foot wide view corridor. It's the only clearing we're allowed to have. We have about 100 feet of wetland vegetation between the yard and the lake, which we can't touch. So if we were to move the shed into the middle of the yard, we would we would be blocking our pedestrian access to the lake, and also we'd be blocking our view, the only 6-foot wide view corridor we have.
Okay, the new deck that you're adding, is that just concrete, or is that going to be a deck with wood? Or
It would
You
be
say-
wood, but right at ground level. And again, not concrete because a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to bring in heavy equipment and demolish the 2 concrete slabs there, so I'll frame over
Yep.
them. But I'll stay right at ground level. It will not be above ground.
Wayne, can I ask you, does that, I didn't notice that was mentioned in the request here. The deck itself, that's obviously in the side yard as well. Why is that, Wayne? Do you know?
Yeah, Rick, what I would probably do, and Amy, maybe you can comment on this, would be to amend that request on the stairs to the 5 feet as well as the same relief that we're given for the shed for that ground level deck.
Okay, so that's all right to do, Amy, right? Even with the advertising we done, or no?
The question is whether the relief is required for the deck and it wasn't advertised as requiring relief for the deck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I cannot endorse that. We need to be sure the relief that is required has specifically been advertised. What was advertised here is relief for the shed itself and relief for the stairs. The deck wasn't mentioned in the agenda, so we can't grant relief for the deck tonight. So I think there's 2 options. They can file a separate application, or they can continue this application and we would re-advertise it.
okay.
Could I ask a question?
Who's that, Mr. Daniels?
John Spear, could I
Yeah,
ask?
go ahead, John. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The deck is directly at ground level. It's not above the ground. It would be built right at ground level with crushed stone underneath. So it's not an elevated structure. Can we consider it just ground treatment or landscaping? I mean, it's the same as if I did a stone paver patio, which wouldn't require relief. It's right at ground level. The only difference is it's made out of wood.
Wayne, that's for you, that question.
Yeah, basically, once the deck is built, it's constructed as a structure, which would have to meet the setbacks. If it were a hardscape such as stone or concrete, it would not have the same criteria that it would need to meet the setback. So if that's an option, some type of a hardscape material for that deck as opposed to a wood deck, then you wouldn't need the relief. But if you do want to do the wood, and I apologize, I assumed that deck was a hardscape deck, not a wood deck. If you do want to do the wood deck, like Amy said, then that would need to be re-advertised for relief.
I think I'd have no problem doing a hardscape deck. I'll demolish the concrete and put a hardscape patio, just a stone patio.
And you could go right over that existing concrete if you wanted to with hardscape.
I could. I think I'll hit it a few times with a sledgehammer and find out how thick it is. I'd rather have it right at ground level.
All right.
Building over it, but I don't have a problem going to a hardscape. I mean, if that gets me out of here tonight with an approval, I'd be happy with that.
Okay. All right, board members, questions for Mr. Spear?
Yeah, just Tom Daniels, just some clarification. I looked at the property and there's a trailer of some sort on one side of the property. This shed is on the opposite side where the trailer was parked?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other board members for questions for this witness?
I have a question. Mr.
Mr.
Spire,
Cagnetta, right? Yep.
yes, this is Rob Cagnetta. So the relationship of or the placement of the shed, does that have anything to do with where the stairs are ending? Meaning like your the height of the deck, the second floor deck, as the stairs come down, they obviously have to terminate at a point. Did you mean was the intent to sort of terminate the stairs at the face of the shed? Like to create some balance back there? I mean, so why can't the shed move 3 feet to the west?
The shed could move 3 feet to the west. I don't see the advantage of that. You know, it just makes the yard 3 feet smaller and leaves an orphan space behind it, which is not really of use to me or anybody else. The stairs land where they land based on the rise and run and down to the ground. I think that may change a little bit if I go from a frame to a hardscape, because the rise will be a little higher, a little greater. So the stairs may go a little further.
So
or I'll make them a little steeper, since I'm getting zoning relief for them as drawn. So I think I need to end them what I showed.
because we're really required to look at it as the least relief necessary. So the placement of the shed, what makes it 5 feet as opposed to 10 feet?
A couple of things. One is that you can see that I lined the gable up with the side of the house. I centered it nicely. Another is that the building code, I think, requires fireproofing if I get within any closer than 5 feet from the property line. Two, I think 5 feet, or three, I think 5 feet is a reasonable amount of space to allow me to maintain the back of the shed and for my neighbor to have space next to his property and whatever he may do in his backyard. So it seemed like a reasonable compromise to get it as far out of my yard and out of my view corridor as possible. Okay. It's a very time-honored New England tradition to put sheds as close to your property line as you can get away with. That's why most ordinances allow them to be that way.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Spear, how far, Rick Jerzak, how far in your estimate is your next door neighbor to their house?
I'm sorry, your audio.
How far is your proposed shed location from your next door neighbor's house? In other words, you're making it closer to his house than the ordinance calls for. So what's the distance between his house and your proposed location?
I did not measure the distance.
Give me an estimate.
The house, his house is much closer to the road. It's further forward. You can see in
okay, so it's a good distance. So what would you, just for the record, what would you think?
I would say that he is about 12 feet from his property line, and his house is considerably forward. So I would say that the shed would be about 22 feet, 24 feet from the corner of his house.
All right, 20 to 25 feet from the corner of his house. Okay.
I think that's a reasonable estimate.
Okay, board members, other questions for this gentleman? No? Okay, Mr. Spear, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think I said what I needed to say.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, does anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or opposition to this petition?
We have a hand raised, Rick.
Okay, oh, good.
All right, I'm going to allow to talk the phone number ending in 110. If you could please just identify yourself.
Hello.
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 Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me?
Will you tell us who you are and spell your name, please?
My name is Yan Krolicky. My name is Yan Krolicky. I'm here for other property, but listen to here. I have a question. He is applicant keeping focus on, this is not self-created hardship. But sounds to me is like he bought a house. He knew the property was small. Now he wants more. It's a hardship created by himself. And by his logic, next day he could buy 2 huge sofas. Said, "Oh, it won't fit in my house. I need to be you know, rebuild a bigger house, has a apply for variance. That's a part of, I'm not, that probably, I'm not totally against him, but I don't understand what's the theory behind it. The setback rule, why people keep me saying this is not self-created hardship, which means you can hear from the recording, he wants this, he wants this. When he bought a house property, he knew was the condition, there are rules there. I just want to know what's the reason, for this kind of variance.
Okay, well, I think he probably gave us his reasoning. And I guess that's going to be a judgment call
I
on our
don't think
part.
it's self-created hardship.
Okay,
I just
yeah,
think that he created his hardship. He wants.
Okay,
He
all right.
wants-
Excuse me, ma'am. Okay, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
First
done.
off, excuse me. Okay. All right. I didn't get your name first. Will you give me your name and spell it, please?
My name is Yan Krolicki.
Okay.
First name Y-N, last name Krolicki. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And your position is that the man has not showed that he has a hardship.
No, my position is, okay, everybody, this is the first time for me come to this kind of board meeting. Okay, I'm trying to understand
Okay.
why come here. I know online they tell you if they say it's not self-created hardship, you will grant the setback. I just think, hey, he bought a house, he knew it was small property, why he wants, the way it is, he wants to break the rule. Now for this theory, based on his theory, anybody can say, I buy too big sofa, won't fit my house. I want to apply variance, extend my property.
Okay.
It's self-created hardship.
All right.
I'm
Well,
repeating myself because you
all
asked
right.
me.
Okay. Well, we
I'm not-
understand. We understand what you're
try to-
saying. The gentleman has explained to us what his feelings are, and we'll take that into
I understand.
consideration. Okay?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Tom Daniels. There is a letter of objection in file. I'm not sure that Jessica entered that when she read the records. I could be wrong.
This one.
Was there a letter of objection, Jessica?
Yes, you're muted.
Sorry, not for 177 Indian Trail.
This Ms. Krolicki, this is Amy Goins, legal counsel. Ms. Krolicki did file 3, I believe, letters of objection with regard to the 94 Winchester application. There were no letters of objection received before the meeting for this one.
Okay, so it's the same person, different piece of property, I guess? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Anyone else, Jessica?
No. No one else.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Spear. Board members, what do you think? Mr. Daniels, what do you think?
I have no problem.
Okay. Mr. Cagnetta? Mr. Cagnetta?
Sorry, no, I do not, sorry, I was already talking. This is Rob Cagnetta. I do not have an issue. I think the applicant has presented his need for the space and the placement of the existing building for the shed to work in that spot. It makes sense to me.
Okay. Mr. Mark, how about you?
I do not have a problem. I think it's fine.
Okay. Mr. Bernardo?
No problem.
Okay, nor do I. I have no problem. Okay, would someone like to make a motion here?
I'll give it a
Mr.
shot.
Cagnetta. Good. I was hoping you'd say something. Get you back in the game.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm a little off. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of Mr. John and Ms. Gabriella Spear of 177 Indian Trail South in Wakefield, Rhode Island for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance. Mr. Spear presented plans of the building and the location of the building on his property. This is a 14 by 10 shed that has a set of stairs leading from an existing second floor deck. And those stairs are going down to a hardscape where there are also 2 propane tanks on top of it that are enclosed in lattice. And the shed is proposed to be 5 feet from the property line. The applicant also submitted plans. These are the site plan was A1, and the elevations and floor plan was A2. Ms. Spence also presented the board with a variety of photographs of the site. Mr. Spear had purchased the property where there were some unique design aspects of the existing house, and so the second floor deck was isolated, and the existing propane tanks were oddly placed on the property. And Mr. Spear's goal was to reposition the tanks in a better position and to line up a shed so it's aesthetically sort of worked with the placement of the building, and obviously did not encroach onto the neighbor's property to the point of where maintenance would have to be done from the neighbor's property. The 5 feet would allow that. He was the only one to speak on his application. There was an objector, and I'm sorry, I don't have her name offhand, but her concerns were mainly if basically anyone can claim a hardship if they can't fit something onto their property. This particular property, though, does have restrictions based on the amount of a buildable area on the lot due to wetlands. It also has restrictions based on the existing structure and the placement of that structure on the property. The building right now is only 10 feet away from the property line, and the zoning required the shed to be 15 feet away. So it would have been oddly placed if he had met all the zoning criteria. The findings of fact that we did find that the hardship from which the applicant sought relief was due to the unique characteristics of the structure, and did not have to do with the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to any physical or economic disability of the applicant. This is because, as I said, that the structure was sort of uniquely placed on the property, and the placement of the shed, this seemed to be the most logical. We do not find that the hardship was due to any prior action of the applicant, and will not result with the desire of the applicant to realize a greater financial gain, because they're mainly trying to store goods, maintenance for the property in a protected area. We find that this variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance, or will not affect the comprehensive plan. And this is because the shed, to have one close to a property line, is not out of character for the area, and its placement is logical on the building. And we will find that the hardship suffered by the owner would be more than a mere inconvenience. And this is because, again, the safe storage of maintenance materials is sort of appreciated by neighbors as well as safety officials. There are no conditions. So with that, I will make a motion to approve.
Mr. Cagnetta, would you consider amending your motion just to make note that we are not approving the 10-foot by 10-foot deck as noted on the plan?
Yes, I did mention that the stairs will go down to a hardscape.
Okay.
So the intent was, yes, for that new deck as identified on the plan of A1 will be a hardscape, not a wooden deck.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Cagnetta. Would someone like to second it?
Second, Tom Daniels.
Okay, second by Mr. Daniels. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
quick question. The stairs that are going to come down from the second floor are going to leave the side yard setback at more than 25 feet. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's Wayne because the setback's different for the house versus the shed, right?
The house is subject to a 10-foot setback, which was granted by this, relief granted by this board, some years ago.
No, but the shed, the new stairs would be subject to the 25-foot setback.
No,
Those are-
40-foot setback.
40 foot, right.
40 foot, yeah, that's the reason, Mr.
But,
Rosen.
but the stairs are coming down further than 15 feet from the side property line. Is that right? The right side property line, is that correct? Mr. Spear?
I would have to look at the plan to be exact, but I think you're right. They're within 15 feet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They
Okay.
do not, they don't increase the degree of nonconformity of the house. They don't extend beyond.
Not the house, but since the deck's not there, the stairs are still going to have the relief, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, let's vote then, all right? Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
and Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Good luck, Mr. Spear.
Well, thank you all very much and good luck with the rest of your agenda this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica, you're doing a great job. Thanks.
Okay, the next one, okay? The petition of PBL Inc., 520 High Street, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to establish a liquor store. Lot size is 0.35 acres. A special use permit is required per zoning ordinance section 301, schedule of use regulations table, and section 907, standards of relief. Owner of the property is Suburban Pilgrim Realty Development for premises located at 1321 Kingston Road, Assessors Map 48-2, Lot 67, and is Zone CD Commercial Downtown. Use code 55.3, liquor store. Okay, Jesse, would you read us what's in the file first? Jessica, you're muted, I think.
Okay. All right, we have an application, we have site plans, we have an owner authorization form, we have a vision appraisal field card, we have an abutters list and radius map, we have applicants exhibit 1, which is a topographical boundary survey dated April 2019. We have applicants exhibit 2, which is a site plan dated February 5th, 2020. And we have a letter of support from Charles Bowes, and that was received on April 20th, 2020.
Okay, all right. Someone here to speak on this petition?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Once again, it's Sean Kenyon, attorney for the applicant, PBL Inc. With me tonight is the project engineer, Josh Rosen, and the owner, Joe Paglia. PBL is owned by two brothers, Joe and John Paglia. They own and operate Patsy's Liquor Store at 520 High Street. They've operated in that location since September, and they haven't had any violations. Joe Paglia is also operator of Turo Joe's in Narragansett for the past 23 years. They have a liquor license and they haven't had any violations. Those of you that are familiar with Patsy's Liquor Store location, there's no customer parking on site. Deliveries are also conducted in the street. The lack of on-site parking and deliveries raised some issues regarding operations. So in order to address those issues, they've entered into a purchase and sales agreement to purchase property located at 1321 Kingstown Road, which is designated as Lot 67 on Tax Assessors Plat 48-2. That property is designated as commercial downtown in both the town's comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinance. The use of a liquor store is permitted by special use permit in the commercial downtown zoning district, which is why we're here tonight. If the special use permit is granted, the applicant would then apply for a change of location with the town council for the liquor license. And there'd be another public hearing on that. The property itself is 14,782 square feet in size. It's located approximately 600 feet from the existing Patsy's Liquor Store. The property has been operated as Liberty Rental for a number of years. There's an existing 2,028 square foot, one-story building located in the middle of the lot. The existing building meets the set yard, the setbacks and lot coverage requirements. The applicant's not proposing any additions to the building. The building is also serviced by town water and sewer and has existing utilities in place. It has both frontage on both Kingstown Road and Kersey Road. The parking requirement is based on the square footage of the building. It would normally be a total of 6 parking spaces. However, since it's in the commercial downtown zoning district, it gets cut in half to 3 parking spaces. The applicant's proposing 8 spaces. 6 of them would be located on the entrance off of Kingstown Road. The other 2 are located on the other side of the building in the area designated for loading zone, and they would probably be used by the employees. The site allows for the designated loading space, which would not require delivery trucks to back up into the road. The operation would be similar to the existing operation at the other site as far as hours of operation and the number of employees. We submitted 2 plans along with the application. I'm going to ask that they be marked as exhibits. The first one is the existing conditions plan prepared by National Surveyors Developers, Inc., which we'll refer to as applicant's exhibit 1.
Okay, hang on, Mr. Kenyon. Jessica, do you understand which one that is that he's referring to, so we can mark that?
Hold on one moment.
This is our first time, John, with marking exhibits on this
I know.
platform, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we even do that, but
John, is this the plan you're talking about?
which one are you
Sorry,
talking?
let me bring it up.
All right.
It's, Jess, it's the one prepared by Norbert Therian.
Okay.
That one.
Okay.
Okay, so that's exhibit 1.
Yes, and then the other is the site plan prepared by Josh Rosen, which would ask be marked as applicant's exhibit 2. And that's
You
the
know
one that's on the screen now.
Do you know where that is, Jess? You
It's
have
on
that?
the screen now.
It's on the screen now.
Okay, all right. So we're certain we know what's exhibit, how they're marked.
All
Yes.
right. And so at this time, I normally do questions and answers, but that's a little difficult here. So have Josh Rosen go over the existing conditions plan, the proposed site plan, and how it complies with the requirements for a special use permit. And then I'm going to have Joe Paglia explain the existing operations, why they're looking to move, and the proposed operations at the new location.
Hey, John, why don't we swear both these gentlemen in right now? Jessica, can they both hear me now? I assume so, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
they should be able to.
Okay, do both you gentlemen swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You
Jack
got,
Rowe.
you both of you? Okay,
Mr. Bagley, I do.
okay, good. All right, go ahead, John.
Actually, I'm going to have Josh go ahead at this point and just go over the existing conditions and the proposed operations.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, John. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Great. For the record, Josh Rosen, Rhode Island Registered Professional Engineer, partner, project engineer with Principi Engineering, Inc., office at 27 Secundit Ridge Drive in Tiverton. If I could, I'm just going to stay right on this plan, Jessica, the labeled site plan. It does allow me to go through a couple of the existing conditions of the current property and the current business, as well as probably explain to you folks a couple of the updates and changes that would be required to facilitate the business of the applicant moving to this property. So I'll go through a couple of the site plan items, and then I'm just going to hit on a few points specific to the applicant's request relative to your special use permit criteria. So the property as it's situated today is effectively considered a corner lot. It's got frontage on Kingstown Road and Kersey Road. Assessors plat 48-2, lot 67 in a commercial downtown zone. There's approximately 15,000 square feet to the property. And currently there's a one-story building, approximately 2,000 square feet in size on this particular property. Building coverage, just about 14%. And we are effectively proposing through this application that the building itself and its footprint remain exactly the same as the building is today. So the coverage minimum or maximum requirement in this particular zone is 50%. We're far less than that. The other things that are on site right now, some of you may be familiar with the property. The owner and the business operator has a fenced storage location with a propane tank at the easterly side of the building. And what will happen when this particular building gets revamped for the proposed application, the propane tank will be removed and a portion of the fencing would be removed, leaving mostly just the fencing that runs along the easterly property line as well as the southerly property line. What is on site today for utilities is as follows. There's a gas service connection, as well as a water and sewer, both public utilities from Kersey Road. Those utilities are not proposed to be modified based on the new use at the property. There's also electric service that, again, that's not going to be modified as a result of the use. There's a small chimney on the side of the building that will likely be removed. So for the proposed use, I want to highlight a couple of things, and these are illustrated pretty clearly on the site plan. One is the parking. We've identified the specific parking space allocation on this site plan. We've provided 8 spaces. The calculation shows that we would be required to have 3 spaces that's after the 50% reduction in the CD zone. So as you see, the primary area for parking, likely for patrons of the business, would be from access and egress at a point on Kingstown Road. That's an existing curb cut that's there today. We've identified a majority of those spaces off of that location. There are a couple of secondary spaces likely for the employees, perhaps, that are to the east or southeast of the building, spots 7 and 8, and those obviously would be accessed from Kersey Road. From a pedestrian standpoint, there are sidewalks that run along the property frontage on both Kersey Road and Kingstown Road, so safe access is there and available to this property going forward. The loading area, as required by the ordinance for this particular type of use, will be provided, as you see, in the hatched area to the east of the building, where delivery and drop-off for the inventory at the store will take place, very separate from, obviously, the majority of the patron parking. The access in and out for those delivery vehicles would be off of Kersey Road as well. Another item to point out would be the trash and any storage area as well. The storage areas are not required or not needed for this particular use based on how the owner, prospective owner will operate this business. There may be a need for a small trash receptacle, likely just for cardboard recycling, for boxes and such. And that would be a unit that would be located in the same vicinity as the loading area off the east side of the building. And it would be, again, that would be an area that would be fenced in, although there's already a fence along that property line to the east and the property line to the south, which effectively will screen that. But the size of that particular receptacle would be very small if it is at all needed. So I talked about the utilities already, and again, the utilities that are servicing the building now are adequate for the proposed use. So there are no changes anticipated to the utility services. One of the things that the prospective building owner or business owner is contemplating would be just some upgrades or additional wall pack lighting to be placed on the building. Right now, there's currently minimal lighting on the building and not a lot of area site lighting, but all that's really required would be some additional downlit wall pack lighting, likely LED, that would be located above the primary entrances to the building. There's no proposal for any exterior site lighting, and therefore there's no nuisance or light pollution or nuisance light that should be projected beyond the property limits at all in this application. The screening and buffering to the closest business, which happens to be a business that provided a letter in favor of this application, is again to the east, where we have a stockade fence and chain link fence that border the property. And there's also a portion of the chain link fence that runs from the southeasterly property corner in a westerly direction that pretty much runs up to the westerly edge of the building. So there's a particular amount of screening with the fencing that's there today that will remain. The general building itself obviously meets the setbacks, as Mr. Kenyon alluded to. Those setbacks won't change, the lot coverage won't change because the building size is not proposed to be modified at all. Obviously, in the commercial downtown district, this is an allowed use, and the uses around this particular property are also commercial businesses. Therefore, the proposed use is compatible in this particular zoning district as well. As you may be aware from going by this property, the signage that's there today is twofold. One, there's a building sign above the entry doors on the west side of the building that's mounted on the building. That's proposed to, in a sense, remain, obviously renamed according to the new business. And the sign that's exterior, a freestanding sign at the property, inside the property corner at Kersey Road and Kingstown Road, in the grassed area, that would also remain in place and be repurposed according to the new business. No new signage other than what's there is proposed, and should any on the building be modified or proposed, that's different from what there today. Obviously, there's a process with that, and the applicant's required to go through the building official for a permit for those particular items, but there are none intended right now. Just looking at my notes one last time, I think I hit on most of the points. And again, the parking was something that we definitely hit on, and the calculation, like I said before, that was one thing that we looked into for the size of the building and the type of use. And we've again provided the 8 spaces, which is in excess of what would be required. So from an existing site plan, proposed site plan, I think I've touched on the items. If anybody has any questions at the board level, certainly I'll stay on to answer those.
Yeah, just Rick Jerzak here. One question. Just tell us a little bit about the loading and unloading. What do you contemplate? What kind of trucks? How are they coming in? How are they backing out? What's happening there?
So what we've done by allocating the actual parking spaces and the striping reserved to the west side of the building and employee parking to the east is we left basically the opportunity for a loading vehicle to enter the property from Kersey Road in either direction, pull in and back out, but by doing its turning movement within the property before exiting Kersey Road to the east, so that we would prevent the need with a tight configuration where that particular loading vehicle would have to back directly onto the street. So there's adequate area for that particular loading vehicle to pull into the site and back around the northerly side of that building and utilize the area that is already a parking surface and pull out onto Kersey Road in a forward direction without the need to actually back directly onto that main road. I guess in a sense of another option, if the vehicles so choose, perhaps they would, I don't know if we could prevent them, but perhaps they would pull in backwards direction into that loading space that you see on the easterly side of the building, and then maybe pull out forward, onto Kersey Road. But there's enough room because we haven't relied on the parking of patrons or employees on to the north of the building in that space. It will be striped accordingly, where all the spaces obviously, again, are going to be on the westerly side of the building, the Kingstown Road side.
Okay. Board members, questions for this witness? Jessica, can you get this plan off so I can just see the board members? Okay, anyone have questions for this witness? No, everyone can hear me? Okay, Mr. Kenyon, go ahead then.
Sure. I could have Joe Paglia, who's one of the owners of the PBL Inc. He's going to testify as to their the existing operations at 520 High Street, what they're proposing here, and maybe he can also answer the chairman's question about deliveries, what type of trucks and how often they occur.
Okay, go ahead. Remember, you're sworn in, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Thank you for having this meeting tonight under these circumstances. So my brother and I have operated Patsy's since December of 2019. And we had the opportunity to purchase a property on road Liberty Rental to move our operation over there. We've been operating Patsy's, I should say, because everybody knows it as Patsy, for a year and a half. No issues. No issues, minors or anything like that. I've been serving alcohol at my other for 20 years, catering license, which also I am allowed to have alcohol anywhere in the state of Rhode Island. Excuse me, for the last years or 6 years with that, without internet. Property we are currently at 520.
We're kind of breaking up here.
Deliveries in front of the.
I'm having.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sir, we can only hear about every third word. Try speaking closer to the mic, perhaps. He's muted now, Jess, for some. Oh, there he is.
How you doing? Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Maybe this is better.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm on my cell phone. So right now we get our deliveries through the front of the building, which takes up 2 or 3 spots for a period of, depending on the size of the delivery. which is pretty tough because all our parking right now is off-street parking on High Street. There is a lot across the street that used to be owned by Mr. Packer, which has been sold to the car wash. And I know they have some future plans of expanding. So that lot may not be available to me. So footage we have now, the building's old. It has definitely suited its purpose in the past, but we would just like a little bit larger footprint for, safety of just our customers from coming in and out and not having to park on the street and have our deliveries come right off the street or on the street. That's basically it. It's just definitely an ideal location. We don't see us doing any changes to that building. Our staff levels should not increase. Our hours operation should maintain the same. We are actually open a little bit later than other area liquor stores. So I leave that with the board. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
How big is it as compared to your current store?
Well,
Square
it's I would say the floor plan is a little bit larger, but I do have storage on the other side of Patsy's. I guess I don't know where the old meat market was. So I really have that just for storage, but the front floor plan is probably maybe 900 square feet.
Okay.
1,000 square feet.
At the current location, and the new location is how many square feet? The floor? Did I lose you?
Mr. Chair, I can answer that. It's Josh Rosen. The current footprint area, the entire footprint area at the Kingstown Road property is 2,028 square feet.
Okay. All right, and from a standpoint of the showroom, will the showroom be that big, or that includes storage, right?
Yes, sir. And that also includes, right now, the cooler for Patsy's is kind of in the middle of the store. If you've been in there, we are going to build a cooler, but it's going to be inside the property. So that will take up some of our floor space. We'd like to have a cooler that is self-serve. Right now, we get everything. So if you come in for a 6-pack of your favorite beer, we're getting it for you. We'd like to have it where you have the convenience of looking at product that's behind glass doors and possibly choosing, a different beer or something you haven't seen before. Right now, we're running off a piece of paper that has a list of our products, and then you ask for that product and we run for it. And we just like to come up with a little bit better options for our guests coming in.
Okay. All right. Hey, Mr. Paglia, what would you estimate from deliveries? Are they mainly tractor trailers coming in? What brings your product in? Are they regular just trucks or box trucks, or tractor trailers?
Yes, sir. The box trucks mainly.
Okay.
You very rarely do you see a tractor trailer truck.
Okay.
And that is usually I haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened over the past year and a half, but from the standpoint of the new location, if you pull down Kersey, you could pull into the lot, and I'm pretty sure without backing up, you could just unload, then drive straight out.
Okay. And how many a day do you figure you have trucks coming in?
It's not a day. It's usually Wednesday is our delivery day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday. There may be small deliveries for our bags. We get some paper bags, Con, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But that's again a very small truck.
And how many trucks would come in Wednesday and Thursday?
It's one from Centrex and one from Budweiser.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Paglia?
No, sir.
Okay, board members, questions for this witness? Anyone?
Mr. Maglia, in terms of the expected use of the building, I'm sure folks that are familiar with the building and its use would be likely to continue to use sort of that east elevation off Kersey. Are you going to try to dissuade people from kind of using that entrance and parking on that side by anything to make it more of a delivery and
We could
sort of more of a business use rather than public use?
Yes, and that can be with signs of delivery space only. I'm not going to say that someone's not going to stop there, run and grab a six-pack, but we will not strike the area and have some loading signs there.
So, but definitely on the more the where the loading side, where the employees are going to park, that one's definitely going to be marked because you don't want to have people parking in front of that area.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, employee parking only.
Okay.
I don't think, well, I shouldn't say that because people do strange things. I don't think somebody would pull back there and park and walk around.
Again, people are used to it as the rental, and usually you don't park in front of that fence area, but it's more of, I'd hate to see it on the particular delivery days for there to be some confusion based on sort of your deliveries. So to I don't know how you have to clearly mark one a delivery side versus a customer side, because you're still going to have the same two entrances, I would assume, and they're going to stay active.
Yes. We got, the good thing about the deliveries, they're usually pretty early in the morning.
Okay. So you don't really have them at 6 or 7 at night when you might be busier for you guys?
No, oh, no. We don't, there's no deliveries that I have had at the liquor store since I've been there past that time. Because usually I'm usually on the morning route, which is good. And morning, when I say morning, after 10 a.m., because I open at 10. So
Right.
which is kind of usually a light traffic at that time between 11 and 1 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions, board members? No one? Okay. John, do you have anything else?
I have nothing else. We can answer any questions that the board has, or if there's anybody in the virtual audience.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the audience in a second. Hey, Amy, I know, again, you have to bear with me, but that whole thing with location to the school, is that an issue at all?
I'm glad you brought that up. This is Amy Goins, legal counsel. This is the application that I was thinking of when I mistakenly said earlier that Class B licenses did not need to comply with the proximity requirement. They do. It's Class A licenses, such as this proposed liquor store or this existing liquor store in a proposed new location, where that proximity requirement to schools or churches is not applicable per the general laws.
So this is not applicable?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions, board members? Okay, I'm going to ask the audience, okay, does anyone want to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? If so, please, what is it they have to do, Jessica?
Need to raise their hand.
Raise your hand. Not physically, on the.
No
Anyone?
one's
No one?
ringing in.
Okay. Okay, having no questions, all right. Thank you, John, unless you have something else to add.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. All right, board members. Okay, Mark, you have any issues?
No, I do not.
Okay, Tom?
No issues.
Okay, Bob? Any issues?
Nope, none for me.
Okay, John?
No.
Okay, all right. How about you, Mr. Rosen? William Rosen?
No.
No? Okay, two Rosens. And I have none either. Okay. Okay, all of that having been said, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Tom Daniels, and I move to approve the petition of PBL Incorporated. The description for the special use permit was previously read into the record by the chairman, so I won't repeat it at this point. The applicant was represented by Attorney Kenyon. Josh Rosen, the architect, also testified, along with Joe Paglia, who is the owner of the business. There was no opposition to the request. The materials that were entered into the record consist of the hearing notice, the site plan, and various other documents, including the locus plan, list of objectors, and that information was read into the record by Jessica Spence, the administrative assistant. The board finds that the special use is specifically authorized by the ordinance, and it is authorized under zoning ordinance section 301, schedule of use regulations, and also section 907, the standards of relief. The special use is permitted in the CD area, and that's what we're dealing with here. That's use code 55.3, liquor store. So that is allowed by special use in the CD area. The board finds that the special use meets all of the criteria put forth in the subsection because the application to change or for the application for the special use permit does not require any change in the building. There is no variance of dimensional variance required. Ingress and egress to the lot have been testified to by Mr. Rosen. Ingress and egress for customers is on Kingstown Road. And ingress and egress, which was a subject of some discussion for delivery vehicles, is on the side road, which is identified as Kersey Road. The applicant testified that the delivery is usually 2 trucks per week. Both of those delivery vehicles will be able to turn in the premises and not have to back on to Kersey Road, as testified to by Mr. Rosen. The parking was identified as 8 spaces where only 3 are required in the ordinance. There will be 8 spaces. They will be clearly marked and identified. And there will be parking to the east side of the building and limited parking to the west side of the building for employees. There is no off-street parking that is required or will be needed, since there is ample parking spaces within the premises, within the bounds of the premises. Mr. Rosen testified that there will be no changes to the building structure. There will be no changes to how trash is handled or how storage is handled presently. The building is fully equipped for utilities. There'll be no changes to the utilities. And the screening and buffering that is currently in place will remain. There'll be no changes based on the testimony again of Mr. Rosen to the exterior of the building with regard to buffering and screening. The sign, there will be some changes in the signs, and Mr. Rosen has testified that the sign will be exterior lit and will comply with the ordinance, and that all lighting will be in compliance with the ordinance, and no variance of lighting or any other variance is requested with this special use permit. This particular building is in general compliance with the area. It is a commercial district. There are other businesses in the area. This building has been existing for a long time. And Mr. Paglia has testified that this is a better location for his business. There are going to be 2,028 square feet available for use in this building, which is a significant increase from where his former location is. And with that, I see no reason not to grant the approval, and I would move that it be granted.
Okay, thank you. Motion made by Mr. Daniels. Would someone like to second it?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Mark. Okay, by way of discussion, first, Jessica Spence has reminded me that I should read. There was one letter in the file. I'm going to read it. To whom it may concern, I would like my full approval to be noted towards the granting of the special use permit for the premises located at 1321 Kingston Road, my business, Bowes Builders, located at 130 Kersey Road, abuts this property. Thank you, owner, Bowes Builders, Charles Bowes. Okay, any other discussion?
I will amend the motion to include that as a document in support of the request.
Okay, would you second that, Mr. Mark?
I do.
Okay, all right, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, let's vote. Okay, Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Mark,
Aye.
okay, Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next one. Okay, petition of Lance Whaley, 98 George Schaefer Street, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct an attached two-car garage with a 672 square foot accessory apartment above. The side yard setback on the left side is 10 feet. The addition along the left side would be 5 feet from the property line. Relief of 5 feet is required. Accessory apartments in the R10 zone with sewers require a lot size of 15,000 square feet. The lot size is 10,890 square feet. Relief of 4,110 square feet is required. Lot size is 10,890 square feet. A dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance section 401 schedule of dimensional regulations table and section 907 standards of relief. Owner of the property is Lance and Kathleen Whaley for premises located at 98 George Shaler Street, assessors map 48-3, lot 263, and is zoned R10. Okay, Jessica, can you read into the file what's in that file?
Sure, we have a complete application, an owner authorization form, a site plan dated March 2020, elevations and floor plans dated March 19th, 2020, and a butters list and a radius map.
Okay, all right, is someone here for this petition?
Lance Whaley's present.
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Whaley, are you there?
I am.
Okay, would you, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you'd like to do.
We'd like to build a two-car garage with an accessory apartment above it. As we have grab my paperwork. And I'd like to have a setback. It's required to be 10 feet. I'd like to go to 5 feet to the property line so I can get the stairs put inside the garage to have access to the second floor.
Okay. What else?
I also like to have the variance for the 4,000 square feet. No requirements. And the reason why we'd like to have the.
I can't hear you. Are you, is he muted, Jess?
How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That might have been me. Did everyone else lose him? Was it just me?
Yeah, lost him.
No, I haven't.
You have him? Okay. Well, go ahead, Mr. Whaley.
Okay, I'm not sure what you didn't hear, but we were looking to have the stairs put inside the garage so it's wouldn't have to shovel them during the snow. And that's pretty much about it.
Okay. How close will you be to the building next door?
It would be 15 to 20 feet away, as it would be on the property to my west. It would be the same distance in between the two buildings.
What do you mean it'd be the same? Not, it won't be the same distance that there's there now, right?
No, it would be proportional to my other neighbor's property. He'd be, there's a 20-foot gap between the two buildings there. And where I'm looking for the variance, it would be 15. I would have to measure it, but it would be like 15 to 20 feet also.
15 to 20 feet to his building. Okay. Okay, anything else you want to tell us?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right. Okay, board members, questions for this gentleman?
Question, Tom Daniels.
Sure.
What's going in describe the accessory apartment. What's going in there?
It would be a 1-bedroom apartment for, I have a aging mom. She's widowed for the last year. And if her health is deteriorating, it would be an apartment for her. And we would have the lift put in the stairwell.
Would the 1-bedroom require any change to your current septic system?
I'm on town sewer, sir.
You're on town sewer, okay. All right, second question I have is, why couldn't you be in compliance with the 10-foot setback and reduce the size of that addition by 5 feet?
I'd like to have the steps inside the garage. We would have a 2-car garage.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you, Jess.
I'm looking at, I guess I'm looking at the site plan. I don't see the garage on there. Oh, the garage will be part of the addition, is that it?
Yes, the apartment will be on top of the garage.
Okay, I see what you mean. So say again why you can't reduce the footprint by 5 feet?
I'd like to have the stairs going up to the apartment inside the garage.
And why wouldn't that work?
I'd like to have 2 cars use the maximum amount of space as I could.
Okay.
What is the depth? I can't read it. The depth of the new addition. How far back? What is the size?
26 feet.
26 feet deep?
Yes, sir. 28 by 26 would be the dimensions of the new addition.
You couldn't put the stairs in the back?
Well, it's, I'd still want to have them inside the garage. So I want to have a setback from the front of the house so it looks a little better than if I had the house, even with the front, it would look like a shoebox, basically.
Tom Daniels again, did you say you were going to put in a lift of some sort or handicapped access of some sort?
Yeah, if it was needed, yes. That's why we would want to have the stairs inside the garage.
Okay, have you discussed this with your next door neighbor?
I have.
Okay. Is he going to testify? Do you know?
No, I don't think he could make it on. I did talk to him. I don't think he's on here tonight. I don't see him.
Okay.
I've talked to him. There are no issues.
He had no issue with it?
None, no issues at all.
Okay, board members, any questions? Anybody?
Yeah, this is Rob Cagnetta. There seems to be, there's a split rail fence. And is it a grapes on there? Or was that an older photograph that I'm looking at?
Oh, that was probably the old one. That was a wisteria and that fence is no longer there.
That fence is no longer there. Was that on the property line, essentially, that fence?
Yeah, and now my neighbor actually put a stockade fence up to keep his daughter and dogs inside his area.
Okay. And you'll still be 5 feet away from that fence or so.
Yes.
Okay.
The fence actually stops before it would come up to my addition.
Thank you.
What is the lot coverage percentage with this addition? What percentage of the lot are you covering?
Oh, I don't have that figure in front of me, but it wouldn't be half. I know that.
Wayne, do you know what that is by any chance?
I do not know what that figure is, Rick, but.
Looks
But
like
it's
about
with-
3%, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah,
It's
I would
within,
verify that.
okay, but it's within acceptable coverage, whatever the zone says?
I believe it does meet the 25% cut lot coverage,
Okay,
but I'll verify that if this moves forward.
all right. Okay, anything else, Mr. Whaley?
No, sir.
Okay, board members, any other questions for him? Okay, Bob, how do you feel? How do you feel about this anyway? I'm not asking you. Well, I should
Well,
ask
it's
you,
been a
feel
rough
okay
couple
too?
weeks. No. So no, this is Rob Kingetta. You know, it's a very unique neighborhood. I'd say there's a lot of movement in terms of setbacks and placements of the buildings. Some of them are really tight together. Some of them are farther apart. So it's hard to say that this would in fact change the neighborhood significantly. I don't think it really would. It does create sort of a tight lot to the adjacent neighbor, but the neighbor seems to be okay with it. So, you know, and I know we've, as a community, we've been certainly not enthusiastic, but have not frowned on people having accessory apartments. So I don't particularly have a problem with it, I guess is my
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, is there anyone in the audience in favor or opposition to this petition? Jessica, I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I do have someone who would like to speak, Sean Diebler.
Okay, why don't you put Sean on?
Hi, Sean Diebler.
Sean, wait, sir, would you spell your name, please? And so we can, spell your name, please.
Sean, S-E-A-N, Diebler, D-E-I-B as in boy, L-E-R.
Okay, Sean, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Okay, what's your residence? Where are you located, Sean? Where do you live?
71 Jennifer Drive.
Okay. All right, is that close? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the neighborhood exactly. Is that close to this property?
Yes, it's, I'm diagonally behind him, but the next one down. If on the plot, we're lot 291.
Okay. All right, so you're in the neighborhood. Okay, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I had a question on because they're adding this new structure, what's the plan for the rainwater runoff on it? My concern is that there's a bowl in the back and all these properties to the north and west of myself all kind of congregate. And then in the winter, when the ground's frozen, if we have a heavy rain, all the water from everywhere, from all the lots north and west of me run through my backyard and then exit out my side yard.
Rick, I can address that.
Okay, go ahead.
When
This is Wayne, this is the building inspector, Wayne Pimentel, answering. Go ahead.
Sorry, Rick. When this is submitted for a building permit application, it automatically goes to the Department of Public Services for a soil erosion stormwater review, at which time they will look at that.
Okay. All right, so that will be looked at. Is that what you're saying, or has it already been looked at?
No, it will be looked at.
It will be looked at. Okay, all right. Okay, Mr. Dabler, did you hear that answer from the building inspector?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I mean, I know years ago, I think it was 1993, because of the runoff, they put in dry wells in lot 303, which are probably plugged now.
okay.
I'm
All
sure
right,
it can be brought to the attention. This is Wayne Pimentel speaking again. That can be brought to the attention of public services. They'll make sure that the appropriate and approved ground DEM stormwater measures are put in place.
Okay, all right, sir. All right,
Okay.
is there anyone, do you have anything else, Mr. Dabler, or is that it?
No, I was just wondering about the storm runoff. As far as the putting the building on, that's fine.
Yep.
I
Okay,
was just worried about, I don't, now that the weather, the winters don't get as bad as they used to, may not become ever an issue.
okay, but, all right, well, obviously, it's something that the building inspector is interested in, and that will be looked at. Anyone else want to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Anyone, Jessica? Okay, I already asked Mr. Cagnetta. Okay, Mr. Rosen, do you have any issues with this
No.
petition?
No,
No? Okay, Mr. Mark? Any issues with this
I do not.
petition? No? Okay, Mr. Bernardo, any issues with this petition?
No issues.
Okay, and Mr. Daniels, any issues?
No issues.
Okay, nor do I. All right, with no one else wants to speak, okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Okay, Mr. Cagnetta, you're up.
So this is the petition of Lance Whaley of 98 George Schaefer Street in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, in 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant was seeking to construct a two-car garage with an accessory apartment above it. The side setback is 10 feet. Although the applicant wanted to put the addition 5 feet from the property line. So they're asking for a relief of 5 feet. The accessory apartments in the R10 zone with sewers require a lot size of 15,000 square feet. The lot size is 10,890 square feet, so a relief of 4,110 square feet is required. The owner of the property, Mr. Whaley, presented his plans to the board. The plans were in the, they were zoning sketch, which was from Pinch Land Surveying, that displayed the existing house foundation and the proposed addition, which is going to be 5 feet from the easterly property line. He also submitted floor plans and elevations for the accessory apartment and the garage from Ocean State Drafting, which was dated on March 19th, 2020. The proposed garage is for use of space of the double garage, but also as an accessory apartment. It is sort of a larger in the sense that it's taking up more of the lot space, but this is not going to change the surrounding area. So this is both, this is a dimensional variance. And with that, there was one gentleman, Mr. Deibler, who lives on 71 Jennifer Drive, that was concerned about some storm runoff. Our building inspector let him know that the town does review runoff, and that storm Containment of stormwater is part of the application. Let's see. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant was seeking relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land, and will not be changing the characteristic of the surrounding area. This is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant. And we find that the hardship of the placement of the building and the addition of the garage only on that one side would put it within the 5 feet. And the desire for the applicant to have an internal stairway required the building to be that size. This is not a result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from the applicant to have a greater financial gain. This is because they're not, he was hoping to have his mom be in the accessory apartment, and this was not to rent out space per se. This will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of our zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan. And this is because the area is, the placement of the buildings is fairly random. So this will not change the character. This is the release necessary, and that is because, as I said, they wanted to have the stairway inside the building as opposed to external. And we find that the hardship suffered by the owner would amount to more than a mere inconvenience if it wasn't granted. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Just Mr. Cagnetta, did you mention the variance with regard to that the lot size is?
I'm sorry, I didn't justify it, but I will. The lot size, they were asking for relief of 4,110 feet, and the lot size, it is an R10 zone, so it is a legal lot size. But the requirement is for the lot size to be 15,000 square feet with an accessory apartment. This particular design of the double garage does fit the use of an accessory apartment. So it is unique in the sense that it works out size-wise for it to have an accessory apartment.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. Could you, Mr. Cagnetta's motion, will someone second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Bernardo. Any discussion? All right, if no discussion, let's have a vote, okay? Mr. Cagnetta.
Aye.
Mr. Bernardo.
Aye.
Mr. Daniels.
Aye.
Mr. Mark.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Jurzak. Aye. Okay, motion passes, okay? All right, good luck, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, stay
All
safe.
right. It looks like this is going to be the last one we're going to get to.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
John Bernardo, I'm going to tap out. You have 5 members still, right? Is that okay?
Amy, that's okay. Yes, yes,
Fine.
Mr. Bernardo. Thank you. We'll,
Thank you,
I would
everybody.
I would just note, we would need to make sure we have the 5 members present on this call for any meeting. If the next one isn't concluded, we'll need those members for a continuance.
okay. Mr. Rosen, you're up then. Okay. Good night, Mr. Bernardo. Thank you. Okay. All right, one more. Okay, petition of,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make note to the people who are not going to get heard tonight. They will be getting a new panelist link emailed to them tomorrow to join the meeting, which is next Wednesday, April 29th.
Mr. Chair and Jess, this is Amy Goins, legal counsel. Should we ask the applicants, give them the option of either next week or May?
or May? Well, I certainly don't have a problem with that. The only issue I have with that is I'm not sure what the calendar is going to be like in May. It seems we're doing about 6 here. I don't know if we're going to get any better. And if we if we can get through the next one, then we've got 6 for next week. So I would, how does everyone else feel about that? I mean, 6 seems like a decent, we'll get better, I guess, but you know,
You're doing great.
why don't we see how we're doing? Okay, and okay, let's try to do one more. And I apologize ahead of time, sir, because I'm going to butcher your name. But my name is just as bad to pronounce. So petition of Louise M.
Guarnacia.
Granaccia. Okay, I'll forget it 2 minutes from now. Granaccia Revocable Trust, 3 Clearview Drive. I can't even say Clearview. Mansfield, Connecticut 06250 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to renovate the existing single-family dwelling through added small additions and interior modifications. The property is within a homeowners association, so all external additions require the issuance of a special use permit. Lot size is 0.35 acres. A special use permit is required per zoning ordinance section 203, special use permit for addition, enlargement, expansion, or intensification, and section 907 standards of relief. Owner of the property is South Jerry Cove Homeowners Association for premises located at 190 South Jerry Cove Road, Assessors Map 82-4, Lot 74-11, and zoned R80. Okay, please, Jessica, could you read what's in the file?
I will, but first I just want to make one more note in regards to the panelists who are still here. You don't need to stick around if you don't want to. If your petition isn't getting heard, you can leave the meeting, just so you're not hanging around, but of course you're welcome to. So,
Jessica, this is Mal O'Connor. Could I ask a question about that? I'm number 10.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
The question is, will you maintain the same order when we meet next week?
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Do we have someone on? Oh, go ahead, Jess. You're going to read what's in.
Okay, so the documents, we have an application with narrative. We have the owner authorization form. We have a CRMC preliminary determination report of findings. We have a wetland delineation findings from Dowling Environmental Services dated 2/13/2019. We have a letter from Environmental Planning and Surveying regarding the square footage of the proposed addition dated March 6, 2020. We have applicants exhibits 1 through 6, which are pictures of the existing house and the aerial GIS photo. We have elevations and floor plans dated May 12, 2019. We have site plans showing existing conditions and proposed conditions dated October 2018. We have an abutters list and a radius map. We have a letter of support from Robert Previtt dated 5/12/2019 and a letter of support from Henry Rositti dated 5/13/2019.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, sir. Would you give us your names?
My full name is Giacomo, Giacomo Granaccia, Guarnaccia. Please call me Jack. It's a lot easier. I would like to.
Let me just swear you in, Jack. Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
No, I would first. I'd like to thank you all for doing this remotely. This is. Many communities are postponing all of these, so at least business is being transacted. I understand that you all have the packet that I submitted to the town in front of you somewhere there. There's all the stuff that Jess read into it. Just to briefly go over this, not to take a lot of time, but there's not going to be any adverse impact on the neighborhood. The 2 abutters who, if you look at the pictures that are in your thing, you'll see both of the houses on the north and the south. I have no objection to what I'm proposing. This property is on city water. There is not going to be any change to bedrooms in the facility. And from what I understand, talking with everybody, the septic system is more than adequate as it is. And there's not going to be any increase of traffic or any adverse effect on the neighborhoods. What we're doing is basically the way the house was initially laid out when it was renovated many, many years ago. There is one large, gigantic bedroom on the second floor, and there are two smaller bedrooms on the first floor. And what we're doing is moving the bedrooms to the second floor, creating a much sitting area and a living room on the main floor with a larger kitchen, and expanding the bath into making it a decent sized full bath and an office. As you probably see from the letterhead, I am an attorney at law. And my goal is I will still be working remotely at my office in Connecticut, which I'm getting very accomplished at, as I'm sure Amy is and everyone else is, with the present situation that we're all in. And that's basically it. You know, we've been through CRMC. They've gone over this with a fine tooth comb, got all of their concerns addressed, gone back to them recently, and they're just, you know, said, you know, you don't have to submit for another preliminary. Everything's fine. You've addressed all the things. We did all the wetland surveys and all of the things that they were required. Be glad to answer any questions or go over anything. The total addition that we're proposing is 580 square feet to the living space.
Can you just tell me from looking at the map?
Don't ask me what the front of the house or the rear of the house is, because I can't figure that out. A private drive, we have a private road that's what we consider the back, what many people consider the front, but everybody can, so all the houses sit on a ridge and face the water. We always consider the water view the front, which is probably under normal surveying standards, the rear part of the house, but it's just backwards.
Okay, so you're adding a section on either side?
No, yes. What we're doing, if you, I'll go into brief detail of what we're doing. If you are looking at the house going south towards the ocean, we're adding on the addition there, and that is, initially we were going out to the water side, we were going east, but because of the concerns with the setbacks and the wetlands and things like that, it was decided to move it. God, it looks terrible in that picture, doesn't it? So we're moving it to the southerly side of the property. We're going out that the upper level decks are being removed, and there are going to be two very small balconies put in their place. The addition basically is going to encompass the existing southerly deck, and then there is just going to be a 4-foot walkway from the driveway into the main deck. So it's going to be a much smaller access way. So it's really not increasing the whole area of the house, and my neighbors are fine with all that.
Okay, I'm just trying to get in my mind what, when we say you're increasing it by so many square feet, where is all that?
It's 222 square feet on each level, on the first floor level and the second floor level. So if you picture the size of the existing deck on the south side, picture that as the addition, which is going to go straight up, and that's 560 square feet.
Okay, on 2 levels, you mean? So it's on
2 levels total, yes.
Total.
The footprint is 220 square feet.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, it seems that Wesley Grant's
yeah, who is that speaking?
Oh, I'm sorry, this is Rob Cagnetta. Wesley Grant's plan that he had made on the elevation and site plan of 190 South Jerry Cove. It's the last in the package. That shows the proposed area to the that he's talking about.
Yes,
and
it does.
the proposed stair. That's kind of the best one that takes the box and then makes the box much more interesting.
All right, so in the shaded, all the shaded
Thank you,
areas.
sir. That was, you're right.
Okay, all the shaded area is what we're proposing. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, anything else to tell us?
I'd be glad to answer any questions. I know it's getting quite late and I don't want to ramble on as a lawyer can do at times.
Okay. Amy, can I ask you a question quickly before that we,
Yes.
yeah. Is there any relevance with regard to I know we've got these couple of developed properties, this one and the one next door with multiple houses on one lot, okay? Does our ordinance with that requirement for 1.5, the size of any additions apply in any way here? You know, in the not,
I'm going to ask Wayne about this one. That refers, I think there's two places in the ordinance where that comes into play, and one is for expansion of non-conforming
right.
structures or uses, and one is in the coastal community overlay district. This is not within the coastal community overlay district, to my knowledge. And as far as the yes, for the homeowners association, the Jerry Cove property with multiple buildings on one lot. Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that there is generally a view of square footage at one point in time. In other words, if the entire property, if every building on that lot were to seek an expansion, that might be something we would have to look at. Wayne, can you explain how you're that?
Sorry to put you on the spot, Wayne. It just, but we have this, you think about this, you think of Carpenter's Beach, you think of the other Jerry Farm Road property. And the question is, should we be keeping tab of what we're authorizing for increases and then say at some point, hey, you guys have enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly, it would be a lot of effort to establish a baseline at this point. Especially, I mean, we have this one, the one just north of this, the regular Jerry Brown Pond. I mean, it's certainly something that we could look into. This particular property and the ones in Jerry Brown are pretty wide. The structures are pretty spaced apart quite a ways. I'm sure at some point most of these were cottages that over time have evolved, but at this point, I would just say we don't have a baseline.
No way to do that right now. Okay, that might be something we look into. I don't know, or get clarification from the council or something. I don't know. I mean, but it just seems that there's got to be some limit. If we do have this ordinance that says we can only increase the size of a non-conforming use by 1.5, it would logically stand to reason that you'd have to look at all the property, all the buildings on there, and what you're increasing over the years, since some baseline, I would think.
I agree. And we could look at something similar to what we do in Roy Carpenter's and Mary Carpenter's, where we use the 2000 assessment as a basis for square footage, and we base any type of enlargement off of that. So that may be something. It's a lot easier to utilize that rather than trying to go back in history to see how big these cottages were and how much improvements they've made.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're going to have to live with what we've got at this point. All right, sir, do you have anything else to add? Jack?
No, I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions for this gentleman? Anybody?
I do. This is Tom Daniels.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
In the addition, what's going on in the addition? Is there bedrooms and/or bathrooms in that addition?
Well, there's going to be the expansion of the kitchen, and did I just lose it? Oh yeah, okay. All right, or there is the second floor. You're going to see that there's the master bedroom is on the left side, the south side, and then you're going to have the two other bedrooms, and there's going to be the two baths. So there's going to be an addition of a bath on the second floor. And you see the exterior staircase, which is part of the addition that we're doing.
So my question is related to the current septic
No, there's no additional bedrooms. There are 3 bedrooms now.
So there's no impact on the current septic, because I noticed that it was approved back in 98, I think.
Yeah, no, it's fine. There's no increase in bedrooms at all.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Questions for this gentleman? Anybody?
Bill Rosen here. This is generally just an increase of 33 or 34% in the size of the total building.
Pretty much, yeah.
And fits in with the 1.5 requirement. Is that correct?
I don't think that applies here because if my understanding is, talking with the building officials, it's within 600 square feet.
Yeah,
Isn't that correct, Wayne, what we had to stay within?
this is Wayne Pimental. Bill, that 50% increase, that's for the entire development, and that's what we were just discussing where.
That's the entire development, but we were talking about establishing a baseline, and 33% would fit within that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, if it was
Yes.
looked at individually, absolutely.
Right, okay, got it.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Bill? You okay?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Anyone else for this witness? Sir, do you have anything else? No other witnesses, just you?
Just I.
Okay.
You got well, I can add one thing. I did speak, there are 10 homes in our association. And I spoke to every single one of the people, gone over the plans with them, and no one had any objections. And the 2 abutters obviously submitted letters of support, and they had no objection in writing.
Okay. All right. Okay, and there are 2 letters in the file. Jess, I don't have those. Jessica? I don't know if you can hear me.
I can
Jessica,
hear you.
yeah,
Rick, I can hear you. I'll bring the letters up.
the 2 letters.
Give me 1 second.
I'm not going to read the 2 letters in depth. It's too late, but
They're very brief.
Yeah, they're very quick.
they are. Okay.
Sorry, I'm coming.
Not here
Did they
yet.
use thumbs up emojis? Is that-
All right, Rick, there's
Oh,
the first one.
Okay. I, Robert Preet of 182 South Jerry Cove Road, and the abutter to 190 South Jerry Cove Road. I have no objection to the proposed renovations plan. Okay, I'm gonna butcher your name again, so I'm not going to. Signed, Robert Preet. Okay, what's the second one?
And right there.
Okay, God, it's getting smaller here. Henry Rossetti. There you go, of 200 South Jerry Cove Road, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, and abutter to 190 South Jerry Cove Road have no objection to the proposed renovations planned by Giacomo
Granaccio.
Granaccio. I'll
Good.
get it. Okay.
You got it.
Granaccio, yeah, but I'll forget in 2 minutes. That's what happens when you get my age. Okay, so be it. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak in favor or opposition to this petition? Anything, Jess?
No one there.
All right, no one there, then having no one. All right, let's just go around. Bob, do you have any issues? You've muted? No issues?
No, none.
No? Okay, Mark?
No.
I'm sorry, Bill. I call you by your last name. You answer for either one. Tom Daniels?
No, I have no objection.
Okay, William Rosen?
No.
Okay, all right, and I have no objection. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll give it a shot.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of Luis M. Janarkia, Revocable Trust on 3 Clearview Drive in Mansfield, Connecticut of 06250 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant was seeking to renovate an existing single-family dwelling through adding small additions and interior modifications. The property is within a homeowners association, so all external additions require the issuance of a special use permit. The lot size is 0.35 acres, and a special use permit is required per our zoning ordinance. The property is at South Jerry Cove Owners Association for premises located at 190 South Jerry Cove Road. The applicant had presented his plans to the board, which include elevations that are were designed and made back in May of 2019. And they depict the changes to the building and the floor plan. The main additions to the floor plan of around 250 feet or so floor plan include the addition off to the sides of the building of a stairway and kitchen area. There's a site plan by Wesley Grant that displays the hashed out area of where the building would be added to. And looks like that was dated last 3/10/20. There were also 2 letters of neighbors that supported the additions to the building, as well as several photographs showing the existing building as it stands now. The special use permit in this case is required because there are multiple buildings on one lot, and any changes to the exterior of the building would constitute a special use permit. The existing building is a rectangular building to which the owner is requesting to change the shape of the building and get closer to some of the adjacent neighbors, of which they did not have any objection. There weren't any rules discerning how much the owner can expand. So there weren't any restrictions on that. There weren't any other objectors to the application. We find that the special use is authorized by this ordinance because, as I said, there were no specific language restricting the expansion of the building. And it's certainly the special use permit allows the building to be added to. It does meet we find that the special use does meet all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance, authorizing the special use, as I said, by the nature of the property and the multiple buildings on one lot. We find that the granting this special use will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, nor will it impair the intent or purpose of our ordinance and the comprehensive plan. We considered whether or not the provisions and arrangements have been made concerning ingress and egress, which it will not. Off-street parking, it will not affect off-street parking. There's no change to trash and storage and delivery. No change to utilities, no need for screening and buffering, no signs. There's no other open space changes, and general compatibility with lots or same or abutting properties. There's no change to that. And there are no conditions to its approval. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, a motion made by Mr. Cagnetta. Would someone like to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Rosen. Any discussion? Okay, if none, let's have a vote. Okay, Mr. Cagnetta,
Aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
okay, Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak, aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Okay, good luck, sir.
Thank you very much and stay safe, everyone.
You too,
Thank you very
sir.
much. You too.
Okay, all right, that's going to be it. Would someone make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was what, Jessica?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to suggest, and maybe you were as well, Jess, this is Amy Goins, legal counsel. I would like to recap where we are for those in the room, the
Oh, okay.
panelists and attendees. I want to make sure it's crystal clear to everyone because we have some members of the public here listening, what applications will be heard next week, May 29th.
Okay, Well, why don't I go through them again? How's that?
Great.
All right, I'm gonna go in the order that we said. The first one is gonna be the petition of Matunic Beach Properties, okay? The next one, hang on, if I can find it, 2 different schedules.
I believe it was O'Connor.
Rick, I have them all if you'd like me to read them.
Yeah, go ahead, read it.
Okay. So we have, first is 240 Cards Pond Road, that's Matunic Beach property. Second will be 17 Border Avenue, that is the O'Connor petition. Third will be 33 Washington Street, that is the Dion petition. Fourth will be 94 Winchester, that is the Greenberg petition. Fifth will be 15 Hendricks, that is the Janito petition. And then last will be 4640 Old Tower Hill Road, and that is the Prout petition. And again, all of those applicants and their witnesses will receive a new panelist invite tomorrow for the April 29th zoning board hearing.
Sorry, Jess and Rick, maybe we can mention again, Amy Goins, legal counsel, for those on the phone, you will not, butters will not receive a new certified bail or other notice, but the meeting will be posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. So the link will be available on the agenda just as it was today.
It's correct. It'll be a new link on the agenda.
Okay, and Amy, are we doing the one on 108, the store thing again next week?
Yes, the approval of the amended decision for Garrett Homes will be on as well, and I will circulate that to the board in advance of the meeting.
Okay, all right. And you know, I think maybe we should, well, we got to get all those in next week, so we'll just have to try harder. We did do 6, and there's 6 more plus that one, okay? All right, will someone again approve make a motion to approve the minutes?
A quick question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, is the next meeting on the 29th a continuation of this meeting or is it a new meeting?
Amy,
I mean, it's a separate meeting, but all the items with the exception of approval of the amended decision will be items continued from this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Amy, do we need to make a motion to continue the remaining petitions to April 29th?
Yes, let's have one motion, and you can, doesn't need to be a motion for each application, but a motion to continue the applications as read by you, Jess, to April 29th.
will someone make that motion, please?
So move.
Okay, second, anybody?
Aye.
Okay, second by Mr. Mark. Motion was by Mr. Rosen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, will someone make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which would have been February 19th
And April 15th. We have two sets of minutes.
and April 15th? Someone
I'll
make
make a
that
motion
motion?
to, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 19 and April 15,
Yes.
Okay,
2020.
motion by Mr. Cagnetta. Someone second it?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Rosen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Is there anything else we have to do, Amy or Jesse?
Just make sure that everyone who's present, we're attendance for next week. We're all good.
Are you all good?
Yeah.
We wouldn't miss it, Jessica. This was so much fun.
I'd just like to
Really?
I'd just like to thank Jessica and Colleen and everyone. The meeting went off really well. So
Yeah,
thank you.
nice
Yeah, you
job.
did. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Agreed. I will just note now, because we did get through 6 today, but they were mostly not with
Right.
objectors. I know we have mostly objector applications next week and one with counsel and experts of
Right.
their own. I would suggest that board members now pencil in the 4th Wednesday in May. That's May 27th. Because I think it is quite likely that we may need 2 meetings in May as well.
Okay. All right. Maybe Jess, you could send that a note out to everybody tomorrow to
I
that
will.
effect, okay? Because with John not being here. All right, anything else we want to discuss? All right, does someone make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, will someone second it?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. I'm not even gonna ask. All right, well, thank you. That went all right. We did okay.
I have a question. What, with the exception of Jess and Amy, why does everybody need a haircut?